Good afternoon. In accordance with sections 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. My name is Larry Clay and I'll be chairing this afternoon's session. Panel members today are Dino Lombardi, Dylan Reed, Paul Gogan, and Ryan Bissonette. Our Deputy Secretary Treasurer today is Sabrina Salatino. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is a traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, and others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. For those participating virtually, when your item is called, you'll be unmuted by the moderator. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. People attending in person today want to receive a decision of the committee on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons and public bodies are permitted to appeal decisions of the committee. Today I'll call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is contested, the agent or applicant will proceed with their presentation. When an application is uncontested, the committee may require a presentation. The committee may ask questions and/or take the matter into committee for a decision. Any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept new materials at the hearing. The applicant or agent will proceed first and make their presentation. Then individuals either in support or oppose the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we call first on speakers in the hearing room and then those participating through WebEx. Each speaker, including the applicant, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee, and I'll comment when you're reaching the 5-minute mark. When all speakers are finished, the applicant agent has an opportunity to rebut those issues that were raised by speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion, and the application will be taken into committee for a decision. Are there any declarations of interest for this afternoon's session? See none. Are there any deferral requests for this afternoon?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I don't see any deferral requests nor files to be closed.
All right. Then we can proceed with item 20, which is...
So on our package, it's
Oh,
item
pardon me.
20. On everyone else's package, it's item number 19.
So,
Homestead.
yeah, to eliminate confusion, it is 8 Homestead Avenue. This is an application to obtain consent to sever the property into 2 undersized residential lots and to maintain existing easements and rights of way. And on each separate lot, there will be a new 2-story detached duplex. Committee has before it a copy of the draft R plan of survey, copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 5 photographs of the subject property, covering letter from the agent, support materials from the agent. Email correspondence from community planning, and we have staff reports from engineering and development review and from urban forestry. We have 7 form letters in support from owners occupants of 4, 6A, 6B, 7, 9, 11, and 13B Homestead Avenue.
Here, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online and no other speakers.
Great, thank you. Good afternoon.
Yes, afternoon. My name is Leo Mastandrea. I'm the agent for the owners at 8 Homestead.
Okay, Leo, you have no opposition, but maybe the panel might benefit from a short presentation just to explain what you're up to here.
So essentially, we want to demolish the existing dwelling and construct 2 duplex dwellings, which will have a total of 4 units. It's consistent with what's been approved in the area, and We've approached all the neighbors, no concerns. Planning has no concerns, and all the other city departments have really no concerns. They have conditions, which we are okay with. And essentially, I think it fits the area and does meet the 4 tests of the Planning Act.
Okay, any questions? Dino?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to the deputant. I'm just looking at your covering letter, I believe, dated June the 12th, 2025. On page number 2, under criteria F, dimensions and shapes of the proposed lots, the first sentence says, the severed lot will be brought into zoning conformity through a zoning review. What does that mean?
Well, I believe it was meant to say that once approved by the committee, it would be consistent with what's been approved in the area.
Okay. And the last part of that paragraph, and I'll read it to you, it says, I'll shorten it, abbreviate it. There's considered to be a significant character-defining attribute of these unique areas that differentiate them from the uniformity of more modern developments. Are you just saying that this is providing diversity in terms of built form, as opposed to older neighborhoods where there's more homogeneous built form?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? See none. We can take this into committee. It's a fairly straightforward application. People seem to be supportive. Dino?
Yeah, I'll take this one. Yeah, I know that there are 10 variances for each of the variance applications. I don't see a problem with the consent. The description is 2 undersized lots, but I think the dimensions are appropriate and will fit the neighborhood. I think in terms of lot size and frontage, it doesn't depart from the prevailing character of the neighborhood, provides some variety, and I think there's no doubt that in my mind that the 2 duplexes could be built and would function appropriately on the lots, and I think they're compatible and fit the neighborhood. So I think the variances individually and cumulatively meet the 4 tests, and I'm prepared to move a motion for approval of the application granting the variances, but I'll defer to any comments from my colleagues before I do that.
No, I think you can go ahead. Dino.
Okay, so I'll move a motion to approve, subject to, I believe there's, well, standard conditions of severance, obviously, for the consent, and then there's development engineering. I think condition has 2 conditions, and, well, it's 1 condition with 2 parts, 2A and B.
That's for the consent, right?
Yeah.
And there's forestry.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So engineering development has the consent conditions. They also impose conditions for the minor variance applications, which we
Yeah.
can do, yeah.
Which is 2A and B, yeah.
And then
The
for urban forestry, B is number 1 and number 3 from urban forestry, and C is number 2 and number 3.
Yep.
Okay,
Thank you.
good with that, Dino?
Before I do, though, one question, and I know this is unorthodox, but variance number 8 talks about energized outlet requirement.
Oh, yeah, did we get a,
We haven't dealt with that, and I know that was something that I was interested in.
can we go out of committee for a second? I wouldn't mind Leo's take on that.
Yeah.
You guys okay? Okay, let's go to committee. Leo, there's a variance.
We can add that in, if that's not an issue whatsoever. We can add that as part of, and if you want to remove that variance, we can add it to our drawings when we submit.
We can. I was just wondering if you had any observations on that. We were struggling. I can't remember seeing a variance of that nature before. Have you?
No, I believe we just let it ride, and we were gonna put it in anyways. I don't know, maybe it got missed by one of our staff. Not sure, but we can put it into our drawings when we submit for a permit. So if you want to remove that one variance, it's not an issue.
No, we'll keep it.
No, I mean, if we remove it, then we'll put in a correction.
Oh, I see. So you're planning to put in a charging port?
Well, if that's what's required to approve it, yes, we can. I just feel that the grid isn't really ready for this, but if it's part of if your guys are moving towards that, then yes, we can put it
Well,
in.
again, we're a little bit uncertain, so we're kind of in your hands. If you're not planning to put it in, then you want to keep the variance. If you're planning to put it
We
in,
weren't planning to put it in because it is an extra expense.
right, so you'd like to keep then the variance?
Yes, if possible.
Okay, that's fine, thank you. All right, back in committee. But it's a good question. It's something we'll have to raise because it's unclear what's going on here.
So I think the motion that I moved is clean now. We don't need to deal with
Okay, so motion by Mr. Lombardi to approve with those conditions. Can I get a seconder? Mr. Gogan, all in favor? You have your approval. Thank you. Okay. We move on to item 21, which is 111 to 125 River Street. This is an application to alter the development standards for the 34-story mixed-use building by increasing the height and number of stories from 34 to 40, including a 6-story podium, gross floor area, number of dwelling units, and permitted projections to accommodate the garbage vent chute and mechanical penthouse. Also to reduce the percentage of the required 2 to 3 bedroom dwelling units or larger, building setbacks, resident parking spaces, bicycle parking spaces, and the width of stacked bicycle parking spaces. There'll be a total of 527 residential dwelling units on this lot and modify the building setbacks. A related site plan control application is approved with conditions. Committee has before a copy of the minutes from the December 3rd public hearing, copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, revised diagram 3 received October 27th, a zoning waiver received December 29th, 8 photographs of trees on the subject property, a covering letter from the agent, servicing letter, a Oak Street and River Street sun shadow study, tree protection plan, site-specific zoning bylaw affecting the subject property, and presentation materials from the agent. We have staff reports from community planning and from Metrolinx and email correspondence from transportation review.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent here in person, no registered speakers for this item.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Kate Cooper. I am a planner and partner with Bousfields, and I'm here today acting on behalf of the registered owner of 111 to 125. I do have a presentation that I can walk you through if you so choose.
Let's do that. You were here before, you were deferred, so maybe if you could just take us through there. I think we might have some questions about some of the reductions you're proposing.
Absolutely, not a problem. Next slide, please. So the subject site before you today is located at the southeast corner of Dundas Street East and River Street in downtown Toronto. It's subject of official plan and zoning bylaw amendment applications that were approved in 2021 to permit the development of the site with a 34-story building. Next slide, please. I wanted to highlight that since 2021, the site is located in a tall building context, and the area has continued to evolve since the original approval, with new buildings in the area that do range in height of up to 38 and 39 stories. Next slide, please. As mentioned, the site does have approval for a 34-story building, currently with 433 units and approximately 27,800 square meters of gross floor area. As mentioned, the notice of approval conditions were issued in 2022. The project has subsequently been put on hold. Next slide, please. However, over the last year and a bit, we have been working extensively with planning, urban design, and park staff to refine the design of the building. It's to respond to changes in the surrounding context and also to reflect recent citywide zoning changes that have been enacted by City Council since 2021. The application before you today does seek to alter the development standards for the approved building, and the variances I'll walk you through have been developed through an iterative process with city staff. Next slide, please. There are a total of 11 variances requested today. They can be grouped into 4 categories, including variances related to the increase of the height of the building, refining the shape of the tower envelope, implementing the best practices that have evolved since 2021, and a couple of technical variances that are required to correct errors in our site-specific bylaw that was approved in 2021. Next slide, please. So the first category results from the increase of the building height from 34 stories to 40 stories, and that's outlined in that red box, as you can see on the slide. As a result of the increase in height, variances are also required to increase the number of units and the maximum gross floor area. The requested increase in height was determined in consultation with planning and urban design staff and does respond to the changes of the height context in the area in which this building continues to fit within despite its greater height. The increase has been studied through shadow testing and designed to limit shadow impacts, particularly on Oak Street Park, and that's been in consultation with City Park staff. The impact of the additional units has also been studied from both a traffic and servicing perspective. As outlined in the staff report, a section 45.9 contribution has been negotiated with planning staff with respect to the additional height and density sought. Next slide, please. The second category is required in response to revisions to the tower envelope, and this is really to make the floor plate more efficient and optimize the unit layout. The approved floor plate is shown on the image on the left. The image on the right shows the revised plate, and you can see where we have reduced the floor plate in red and increased the floor plate in green. The revised floor plate is generally consistent with the approved development, and these changes were made in consultation with both planning and design staff. Next slide, please. The third category seeks to implement standards that Council has revised on a citywide level to ensure the project is more reflective of current and best practices that would apply as of right if this application were to go through the rezoning process today. Variance 3 includes the reduction in the proportion of family-sized units to reflect the growing up guidelines, which recognizes 25% as an appropriate proportion for family-sized units, which we do continue to exceed. Variance 8 includes reducing the requirement for resident parking spaces in accordance with City Bylaw 89/2022, which requires 0 resident parking. The variance reduces only the requirement to provide for flexibility for the actual number of spaces to be determined during the sales and marketing process. At this time, my client intends to provide 41 resident parking spaces, and I will note that the number of visitor spaces has been increased to reflect the additional units. Variance 9 includes reducing the number of long-term bicycle spaces in accordance with the city's new cash in lieu of bicycle parking program, which was approved by Council through Bylaw 223/2025. The applicant has agreed to a financial contribution to be directed to the expansion of the city's bike share program. And finally, Variance 11 seeks to reduce the minimum width of a stacked bicycle parking space and implements Council's new citywide direction in that same bylaw. Next slide, please. The final category seeks to rectify drawing errors made in the preparation of our approved site-specific bylaw, including incorrect numbers for the mechanical penthouse and garbage chute projections, as well as where bicycle parking is located. Next slide, please. In summary, it is my opinion that the variances individually and cumulatively meet the 4 tests as set out in Section 45.1 of the Planning Act. They continue to provide for a podium tower built form typology that fits within the surrounding context, incorporates appropriate setbacks and stepbacks, includes the appropriate portion of family-sized units, and all other variances implement citywide changes made by Council or rectify errors previously made. The variances were developed in consultation with staff, and we have reviewed the conditions in the staff report and do not have any concerns. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Great, thank you. Any questions, panel? Yes, Dylan.
Just a couple questions. First, can you explain the rationale for reducing the number of larger units from what was in the bylaw, original bylaw?
When we first developed, through you, Mr. Chair, when we first developed a bylaw, we had 40% of the units as family-sized units because the downtown plan has a policy that talks about an additional 15% of family units in addition to the 25% to be required as family-sized. In reviewing the market and what my client is hoping to achieve to make this project financially feasible, they were trying to increase the number of units as much as they could, but still maintaining the intent of the growing up guidelines of the 25%. We do still provide 3.6% of additional units above the 25, but we wanted to try to maximize the number of units in the building so that we could provide an appropriate sales program.
Thank you. In terms of the reduction of the size of the bicycle parking, you referenced the city policy. Can you just elaborate on that?
There is a bylaw that was approved by Council. It's bylaw 2023. Sorry, 1 second. Let me just find it. Bylaw 2023-2025, which is a bylaw that also talks about the cash in lieu of bicycle parking program. And it's really to identify a different type of stacked parking standard. And this is a pretty regular module that the city has accepted on other projects. And it's just to make sure that the bicycle parking areas are the most sufficient and efficient inside of a building.
So the bylaw now allows that size?
That is the side that's permitted now in that bylaw. That bylaw was not enforced when we had the original approval.
Thank you.
So we're meeting the intent of that bylaw.
Okay. All right, anything else? That was my question, is about the unit mix, right? So, okay.
Thank you.
All right. No further questions. We'll go into committee. Ryan?
Yeah, I find this entirely logical and supportable. I noticed that there's some recommendations from planning staff for some community benefits. So I think we should, I'm happy to make a motion to approve the variances subject to adding in the community benefits as recommended by planning staff.
Okay. Yes, Dylan.
Just wanted to make some comments.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
So I understand, of course, this has been approved by staff and everything, but I do have a lot of concerns about this one. First of all, I would say 6 stories addition is on the edge of being minor, especially in that it's also becoming a thicker building. So often we've seen thinner but higher, which is fine, but this one is actually adding some thickness and considerable amount of gross floor area, as well as adding extra height. But my bigger concern is the fact that it's going to overshadow the park at the prime time of day during lunch hour. Specifically, these additional stories will overshadow the park during lunch hour, basically when the prime time. I'm concerned about the reduction in the number of bikes. This is, especially in conjunction with reduction in the number of parking spaces. This is at the intersection of 2 bike lanes. The bikes are going to be pushed down. There are going to be fewer bike parking spaces. They're going to be smaller. Also, the new design, I don't think it really, it now sticks out at the corner. Whereas before it kind of stepped back cleanly, which I don't really think is that appealing. And especially I'm concerned about the reduction of large units. City Council clearly intended to provide more family-sized units in the space. I don't really, having made that effort, I don't really think it's the direction that we want to go to actually reduce the number of family-sized units. So overall, I just don't feel like this is the appropriate direction for the development of the area.
Did you, we didn't talk about the shadow studying. Did you want to ask the agent?
No, I saw the shadow study. It was quite good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to give her a chance to respond to
I
that.
saw the shadow study. I looked at it closely. It
Okay.
covers a good chunk of the park.
Okay.
For an hour a day, like around noon.
Okay.
Especially March and September times when people really would like to be in the park in the sun. Anyway, so for those reasons, I can't support this.
Okay. Dino?
Thank you. I'll disagree with my colleague in the sense that I think, while I understand that there will be some shadowing, I think adding 6 stories on a building like this will be somewhat negligible from my perspective in terms of impact. To be quite honest, I think some of these variances are technical in nature. I think they still satisfy the 4 tests, specifically the first 2. They meet the general intent and purpose of the official plan and the zoning bylaw. I mean, the term or the word general is included there. I still think they propose what City Council was looking for, and so I'm prepared to support the application and the variances being requested.
Okay. Paul, did you want to say anything?
No, I just think that
Sorry, my only comment is that time has passed, and then expectations on transit and bikes and cars is always evolving. So this is where I kind of have to defer kind of to the developer to come up with the best solution for the site to some degree. But I am sympathetic to the shadow study. When you look at before and after, I kind of align. It isn't a massive change from 36 to 40, but I can appreciate that. But I still find it a supportable application.
Yeah, I just weigh in, from my perspective, I put it in context, is that this is an area and the surrounding area which has undergone quite extensive redevelopment. And there are already a number of towers along River Street, and that's not surprising. This is basically West Don lands, right? So it was pretty underutilized area that much of it has been now opened up by some of the flood proofing along the Don. You know, the city, I think, has been encouraging redevelopment of these parcels in this general area for some time. You're right, Dylan, it's sort of on the border. I've seen some which have been asking for 25%, and I think that to me tips the scale, and that's more than a minor variance, and I think this one is under that. I was originally concerned about the unit mix, but we're at 28, almost 29% twos and threes, which isn't necessarily ideal. But the fact that this has been through city staff and they have been working with the proponent and for all intents and purposes are satisfied that this now is a reasonable proposal, that you know, I'm okay with it. I frankly would like to see more twos and threes, but I understand that market conditions being what they are, 28, almost 29% is still pretty good. So I'm going to support it as well. So I think we've all spoken. So I think maybe someone, Ryan, did you start making a motion there?
I indicated that I'd be happy to make a motion, so I'll put forward a motion to approve the requested variances, subject to planning condition number 1, which is a cash contribution to the city.
Sorry, this is the planning, as part of the planning report dated January 19th.
I have one November 24th, 2025, so I guess I'm looking at an old document. I apologize.
That was in the
Mr. Chair.
original. Was that in the original?
Yeah,
That was, yeah,
I'm
that was in
looking
the
at it.
original. So
Yeah,
yes, there is a later one. So let's
apologize,
tie
yeah.
it to the later one.
Yeah, we'll tie. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Motion by Mr. Bissonnette.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Chair. Transportation Review submitted an email about payment in lieu of bicycle parking.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I think that's taken care of in the planning.
Is it included in the planning report?
Yes, it is.
It is
Yeah.
payment in lieu for long-term bicycle space
Oh, yeah.
reduction.
Is that the same condition that transportation has put in?
Well, transportation's comments a little,
I think transportation was just trying to make sure that it was there.
yeah, but the way it's worded, it's different.
So again, maybe take some. Would it be are they different? If they're different, then we've got a bit of an issue.
Well, it almost seems like transportation is saying they'd rather the payment in lieu instead of the variance that's being sought through committee of adjustment. But you need the variance and then you pay the parking in lieu for
Then
bicycles, so
should we
there's a little
stick-
bit of contradiction.
Well, maybe we should stick with the
there.
planning then.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's do that then. We'll stay with the planning conditions. Motion by Mr. Bissonnette to approve, seconded by Mr. Lombardi. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Reed dissents. The motion carries. You've got your approval.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we move on to Number 22, 282 Riverside Drive. This is an application to alter the existing two-story detached dwelling by constructing a rear one-story addition over the existing attached garage at the basement level with a rear deck and stairs. Committee has before it a copy plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, covering letter from the agent, previous decision number affecting the subject property, an arborist report, and a TRCA permit letter. We have staff reports from Ravine and Natural Feature Protection, as well as TRCA. We have correspondence and concern from the Swansea Area Ratepayers Association.
Mr. Chair, we have the agent online and one registered speaker in opposition, I think.
Okay. All right. Mr. Trotter.
81 St. Clarence Avenue, Toronto.
Sorry, sir, we just missed your name. Just for the record, please.
Oh, sorry, Andy Trotter. 81 St. Clarence Avenue, okay.
All right, sir. So it looks like the Swansea Area Ratepayers Association would like to speak to this item, so we'll need a presentation.
Oh, okay. Well, this is a one-story addition off a garage that we went to committee for back in 21. Since then, the owner's aging, and he had quite a health problem about a year ago and felt that it was important to add this extra floor space on level 1, and that he was having difficulty. He feels he wants to install an elevator as shown in the cover letter. And I read the Ratepayers Association concern about the FSI, and it's gone up 0.09 from the previous decision in 21 of 0.70. It's gone from 0.70 to 0.79. If you look at the cover letter, on there's a photo of the south side of the yard of the neighbors at 280. It's an identical massing to what we're asking for, with two garages, a one-story addition above the second garage, and then the deck that comes out, which actually is a much larger deck than the one we propose. And the same thing on the north side at 284. It actually has a two-story addition above the garage with a much larger deck than we're proposing. So with the concern about the ratepayers, Mr. Singh had written that, is this in line with the FSI of the neighbors? That's impossible for me to figure out. The one issue with these lots is the truncated setbacks created by the top of stable bank create an FSI that's not really, realistic to the lot. The lots are much bigger, and if the top of stable bank wasn't creating that setback, these FSIs would I don't think we'd be here for the FSI. And these neighbors have similar top of stable banks, creating, I would say, similar FSIs, but it's impossible to determine because those top of stable banks are property by property. So I would say, based on the massing that I've shown in the photographs and the survey, Mr. Singh should be able to surmise that the FSIs are similar, and that this is not out of context. It certainly it doesn't affect the continuity of the rear yards and or the front yards. So I feel this is definitely this definitely meets the 4 tests of the Planning Act.
Okay.
And, yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir. Any questions before we go to the speaker? Nope. All right. We invite Mr. Singh on.
Nicholas, you've unmuted.
Yeah, Good afternoon. My name's Nicholas Singh. I'm with the Swansea Area Ratepayers Association. In view of the previous application in 2021, this application should be viewed in its entirety. So the subject property already has an increased depth, increased front yard presence via a front yard setback, and front step incursion into the step back. And it also already enjoys an increased density, which was double the permitted 0.35. Now we're asked for an additional density and a further incursion into the setback, this time on the north side. Regarding the stable top of slope variances, we won't address those. We trust the TRCA's judgment in those. So regarding the north yard step back, the application doesn't really speak to why this should be. It was described as an existing condition, and I don't understand why the previous garage wasn't required to have a step back if this was an existing condition. So we believe it's a new variance, and in addition to the already increased length in front and the setback, we don't believe it's appropriate. It adds to the massing of the building and isn't desirable from a neighborhood character perspective. In other words, from the official plan, it doesn't seem to pass the test. And from what we've been told so far, that the FSI is, in comparison to the others, it's not able to be determined whether or not it complies with the official plan. I would suggest that before this committee, there is no evidence to suggest that it does, and it should be refused. So yes, so the step back and on the north side isn't a current situation, and the FSI doesn't conform with the neighborhood as far as we can tell. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of the speaker? See none. Can we get Mr. Trotter back, please?
Just for context, 176 Morningside Avenue had an approved decision from 0.35 to 1.35. That's just on the other side of the ravine across from my neighbor, my client. On the west side of the ravine, 5 Brule Crescent had an FSI of 0.75 with a main wall height of 10.97 from 7 meters. So, you know, this is these are much bigger massing situations than we're asking for. So these things have already been passed. And as far as the 0.75 setback goes, that comes from the existing setback of the house. When we extended the garage, there was no variance on that because that was existing. This has come into play because of the deck. And and as far as the setback from the top of Stable Bank, we haven't changed the length of the house. The length of the house is exactly the same. There's no difference. The setback for the post as shown in the cover letter, I've shown that the post is for the staircase of the deck is what's triggered that setback. None of the building or any of the superstructure has triggered any setbacks other than the FSI. That's really all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Panel, any questions of the agent? No? All right, let's take it into committee. Comments? Go ahead, Dino.
Thank you. Excuse me. I don't see this as a problematic application. I think the variances, the 4 variances being requested are minor in my opinion. Variance 3 and 4 deal with TRCA, they have no comment or no objection to the application, so I believe that they're comfortable with what the applicant is requesting. In terms of variance 1 and 2, the first is for floor space index. Currently, it sits at, for this property, is 0.70, and I understand, you know, there's a possibility that people are thinking about this is an iterative process where applicant is coming back for additional floor place density, FSI. I see the rationale. I don't think that 0.09 increase is significant at all. So I'm prepared to support this application, again,
Okay,
referring to my.
I think you could probably turn that into a motion, Dino.
Sure. I will do that. I will put a motion forward to approve the application and grant the 4 variances. Just looking to see if there are any.
There's RNFP, condition 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, motion by Mr. Lombardi to approve. Do I have a seconder? Mr. Gogan, all in favor?
Aye.
You have your approval. Thank you. Okay, we move on to item 23. 1654 to 1660 O'Connor Drive. This is an application to construct a new 7-story detached building, which is a public self-storage warehouse and office space. There'll be a total of 8 surface parking spaces on this lot. Committee has before a copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 9 photographs of the subject property, covering letter from the agent, an arborist report, a transportation impact study, and a tree protection plan. There is email correspondence from Transportation Review and correspondence in concern from 90 North Line Road, correspondence in opposition from 1666 O'Connor Drive.
To Mr. Chair, we have the agent here in person and 2 registered speakers in person as well.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Oh, sorry. Good afternoon. My name is Harry Zhu, and from Arcadius, and my address is 2 Sonic Way in North York, and I'm the representative of the property owner.
Great. We've got some folks who want to speak to this item, so we'll need a short presentation, please.
Okay, yeah, sure. I do have a presentation slide. Oh, thank you for that, and to show here. So thank you for that. I'm bringing you the application for actually only 2 pretty straightforward minor variants. Next slide, please. And then general quick background here. The site is located on the northwest intersection of North Line Road and O'Connor Drive, and as you can see here, that's the rendering of the perspective of the self-storage building here. We are proposing a self-storage building 7-story, and then we also have around 400 square meter of flex office space that's located on the ground floor, and you can see in the perspective drawing it's on the corner of the intersection with some transparent design and in order to animate the streetscape. And the site is 5322 square meter. That's after road conveyance, different from the original lot area. And we're proposing a total of 13,749 square meter of GFA here. And that's why we are here with 2 minor variances. But then, firstly, it's under the old bylaw, and then 7625, and then under that is under the MC zone, so industrial commercial, and then that only permits maximum FSI of 1.0, and then that's why we are applying for 2.58. And also under the older bylaw, we are looking at the parking standard that define this thing as a warehousing. So you look at the as of right requirement confirmed by the zoning staff as 96 in total, and then we are only asking for 8, and 4 for the self-storage and 4 for the office uses. This is correlated to a site plan control application. We submitted that about more than a year ago, and it's ongoing. We have active communication with the staff to address this issue. Any matter with the application. Next slide, please. Quick representation of the site plan here, just to have a highlight on the parking area. Is on the west side of the building, and then we got 8 parking spaces there, and you will also see 3 loading spaces there. It's a self-storage building, so many people come, they don't really drive, their personal vehicle. They may just go with U-Haul or any any truck or transportations. And next slide, please. Quick summarize of the FSI variances. With the seven story, we have active communication with the city staff, and we have, through the site plan control, we do have shadow study and also discussion with the urban design staff and the planning staff. They have no concern with the density and also the height, and that's why you don't see any objection letter, like from a planning department as well. And it's my opinion that the proposed minor variance does represent the latest trend of development, and then also it's more efficient way to intensify the use of the site. Next slide, please. And then for the parking variances, it's under the older bylaw. So if we brought it into the citywide bylaw, then basically we don't need any parking. You can see that in the screen here, Tier 2 office and self-storage only got maximum requirement in parking zone C, which we are in. But then still, we provided the parking based on the actual operation of the facility experience. Valtra has many self-storage across the GTA area, and as you can see in the quote from the TIS, basically we are looking at somewhere around 10 in the low season, busy season, around 15 customers per whole day to use the site, and many of them, they don't come with their personal vehicle, they come through their U-Haul truck or things like that. So that's why I think that's why the TIS suggesting the parking supply is definitely sufficient, and also it is agreed upon by the transportation department of the city. So that's why you can see the correspondence there. Next slide, please. And it is my opinion that the proposed development, although numerically sounds like pretty major, but then it is actually a very common development, incompatible with the general character of an employment area in the current trend of development, and it meets the forecast, and also at the city planning and urban forestry, when we talk to them, they have no concern. Transportation review, they have, again, in email correspondence saying no objections. So for me, that's a good planning. Thank you for that.
Thank you, sir. We do have some folks here to speak to this item, so we'll come back to you. Thank you. Gentlemen, are you speaking? Yeah, come on up. Just get your name and address, please, sir.
Good afternoon. Carmen D'Alessandro, C-A-R-M-I-N-E, D'*A-L-E-S-S-A-N-D-R-O. Home address is 286 Dunforest Avenue. I am the owner of the property at 90 Northline Road, which is west of the subject property. It is a multi-user industrial building with approximately 8 small business clients. I actually wanted to congratulate the owner and the architect on a very attractive building. It certainly will be an improvement over the Midas and the Mr. Transmission. No concern whatsoever for the height or the density. God bless. Over the past 22 years, I've had the lived experience of the parking challenges around Northline and O'Connor. We have challenges with the residential units to the south that park. We've had challenges with the Midas users parking on our property and walking on over. It is the nature of living in the city. What we see going forward, while 88 parking spots is unreasonably high, 8 would appear to be very low, especially with a flex office that will probably end up using probably more than 8 of those. They're in busy times, which I assume for a storage area will be weekends and evenings. There will be very likely, I'm sure the transportation report will say otherwise, but there will be very likely be overflow, be people parking and taking up the parking spots that my small business tenants do require. I mean, ideally, the parking provided can be more. I don't know what that magic number is, between 8 and 96. I would even go so far as saying supporting 8 stories, 9 stories, if there could be the addition of a level of parking or half-tier parking and add even more flex office space. I don't know if there is any contemplation for some fixed solid fencing along the property line to the west, or even on the south, or any sides of it, or any landscaping that would, you know, provide some kind of a detriment to people coming in. As, you know, as the proponent said, there would be U-Hauls, but a lot of times people come with family members to move things in and out, and there will be overflow. That may be one suggestion they want to look at in terms of assisting. Again, wish them all luck with their businesses, so long as it hopefully does not negatively impact the small businesses that operate out of our building. Thank you very much.
Okay, great, thanks very much. Panel, any questions?
So just to clarify, your concern is that there's not sufficient parking and that people will park on your property?
Right.
Yep. We can certainly ask the agent to respond to that, whether they're putting fencing or some sort of blocking in between the two properties. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. We have one more speaker. Oh,
Good afternoon, committee. John Carinci, owner of 1666 O'Connor Drive, Carlin Building Corporation, and also the Jet Clean Car Wash. So I've been there 25 years. I'm here to oppose all three of the variances. The coverage seems to be excessive. It's not minor in nature. The reduction of the office parking spots from 8 to 4 don't seem reasonable. If there's going to be flex office space, there's going to be people that run their businesses out of that. I know people that run businesses out of storage units. They're there all day long. There is no restriction on time in your storage unit. The 88 parking spots to 4, I'm sorry, but that is ludicrous. Over the past 25 years, the neighboring property, which is the sports bar, with the added banquet hall, has caused great amount of stress on my business for illegal parking. There was not adequate parking when the banquet hall was added, and I think that the City of Toronto Parking Enforcement knows me by first name over the past 25 years. The storage business, okay, 7 floors, 3 loading docks. Let's look at this. You come in with a U-Haul, you have to carry your items up 7 floors on an elevator, unload them into your unit. That could take half a day. Well, I'm going to tell you where everyone's going to park. They're going to park at the car wash, which they've been already doing. I've got 2 neighboring properties that use my facilities. I have a lot of area to park. They have been doing it for 25 years. And I service a great area of customers with the car wash. They love the place. They've been loving it for 25 years. 4 spots, it's not practical. There could be 200, 250 units in this storage building. There's no way that 15 people a day are going to come to it. That's ludicrous. It's not reasonable. The people have no choice but to park at the car wash. It's easy. You go there. I'm not there all the time. I'm there 7 days a week. I've been there 7 days a week for 25 years. There are cars that are parking illegally constantly, so the customers cannot operate there. The residential development that is going to be across the road from this future facility already uses North Line for parking. The street is jammed with cars parking there from the residential. There is no place for people to park. Where are they going to go? I mean, if these guys want to build another floor and do some underground parking or something, God bless you. Go ahead and do it. But the business model of a storage facility is you go there with usually a truck or a van, which is a big building, and you're going to spend countless hours unloading your goods or organizing them, and you need a place to park. You're not going to go there with your bicycle with a bicycle basket, you know, with grandma's vase that she gave you. You're going to go there with a truck. You are going to spend hours there. 3 loading docks could potentially be tied up the whole day. Where are people going to stage? Where are they going to wait? When I developed the car wash 25 years ago, Metro Roads and Transportation requirement was that I had to provide stacking for each bay. I have 12 bays. I have stacking, I have loading space, and I have all the required parking spaces. That's why I don't impede any of my neighboring properties' operation. I've got an auto repair shop that's next to me that's blocking O'Connor daily with heavy trucks, okay? Dangerous as you could ever believe. I've almost been T-boned 1,000 times leaving the property. Okay, so they're blocking lanes because they operate a big truck business out of a 50-foot lot. We've had the banquet facility next door, which has been using the parking lot for years. So my job, instead of running my business, is parking enforcement. We need parking spots. You know, at the end of the day, it's a beautiful building. You know, good luck with the business. But provide the adequate parking spaces so that the customers of this self-storage building will be able to go there and, you know, spend time in their units, organize their stuff, and use it properly. But 4 spots? That doesn't make any sense at all. I think that this has to be revisited. These are not minor changes. They are major changes. You know, if you wanted to have, like, you know, 88 and you had 30 spots.
Sir, I'm just going to warn you, your time is just
Yeah.
about up.
Anyway, that's pretty much my position on this.
Great, thank you. So
Thank you
is
very
there
much.
grade separation between the current property and your property? Looks like there's a curb or something there, is there?
There is.
Okay,
There is.
so people would presume you're worried that they'd park on your lot and walk back to the storage facility. Is that your
Right,
concern?
but at the sidewalk, it's at grade. So they can.
They could walk around.
Yeah, you just go on the sidewalk. We'll be close to the storage building. You'll walk over and it's easy, you know, it's
Okay.
2 seconds, so.
All right,
Exactly.
great, thank you very much.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions, Dino?
Just a quick one. So I know the area. You know that there's a transportation impact study that's been prepared by the applicant. Have you looked at that?
I've not been aware of that at all.
Okay. It indicates that the proposed number of parking spaces, given the use that's being proposed, is appropriate. I know that you deal with this every day, so there's 2 different perspectives. I just wanted you to think about
I understand
whether
that.
you saw that or not.
I did not see it, and I would have loved to known how that they even calculated that, because a building with 200 storage units is going to have X amount of people in it at any given time.
Right.
You know, 4 spots, like,
Well, and then the corollary to that is recently the City of Toronto changed its parking requirements.
I understand, I've heard of
So
that.
now there's no minimum, there's a maximum. So that impacts, you know, developments as well. Anyway, I just wanted to know.
Listen,
if
I
you-
understand that, but at the end of the day, you know, we live in a real world, and I know that people are gonna come and park there, and it's a much larger floor area than anything that's ever existed next door. So what makes anyone think that, you know, that 4 spots are gonna satisfy a building with 200+ units in it is really ludicrous to me, so.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is that our speakers? One more? No, we're done. We have the agent. Sir, could you go on and come back up, please? I think if you want to focus your remarks to the parking issue, I think that's the major concern by the folks who just spoke.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for that. And first of all, I want to just introduce a little bit more of a history background. Before the property owner acquired the property, like in the previous operation, that was actually a transmission. So it's a transmission shop, and with lots of car park there, and then there is also a banquet hall and a restaurant. So that's correct in the history. So within the planning world, we all know that for restaurant uses and also for car shop, that parking requirement is high. And then potentially, if there is any illegal parking, you know, onto the encroachment property, that might really happen before. However, right now, you know, the use has been vacated, and we are looking at the new use here. That is a self-storage property. And then, as you also noted, that TIS has already been conducted and agreed upon by the city staff. And to be really honest, it does look like 4 parking spaces for self-storage. It sounds not quite add to the number, but then, you know, in the real world operation of a self-storage facility, that is the true condition, experience based on that. And I have, rest assured that, I have communicated the letter of concern to the property owner, and he is aware of there is a concern about the overflow of parking spaces, and I believe that it is the intention for the property owner in the long run, in the operation of the future building, to suggest to all the user that do not park on the nearby property. If they are going to park, park on the street. Northline has public parking, but then for sure, it is our understanding and experience that the proposed parking is definitely sufficient enough. And also, if needed, the operator can consider other alternative like a reservation system or so on to spread the parking. But then that's rarely happen based on the operational information provided by the owner.
Is it your intention or your client's intention to build a fence around the property? It just sounds like that might go some distance to make the neighboring properties a little more comfortable, just because people will be dissuaded from parking and just walking across.
Sure. So through the site plan control, urban design department has already requested some sort of screening with the neighboring property. That's a standard ask. For the west side of the property line, we do have fencing, and there is going to be landscaping there as a screening buffer. For the north property line, I think the intention is to have a fence as well. However, I have to be real honest, the north property line is also straddled on a Toronto water sewer trunk easement. So whatever fence that we're going to place there, we have to be approved by the Toronto water to ensure that. But the intention, yes, is on that. And
so is that fence that you referred to on the west side, is it on your site plan? Is it shown?
On the site plan, I think it's probably more, it's on the landscaping plan. And yeah, that.
Sorry, can we find and call up the landscaping plan, please? Is it submitted as part of your documents, the landscaping plan?
No, unfortunately.
Okay,
not.
so we don't have it.
No.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, Dino?
Thank you. I'm probably the only one who doesn't know what this is, but can you explain what a flex office facility is?
Okay, a flex office facility is a type of office, but it's shared by all the public. But when I say all the public, it's a registered member in the system. So whenever that you, for example, you are a student, or potentially that you are nearby business owner, that you do need some additional office space to work, then you can register online as an account and then reserve your space and pay the user fee by hourly, and then you go there, and then it's a shared office space that can give some additional services to the nearby employment area.
Yeah, it was a different terminology when 20 years ago. So is that on the first floor only?
It's on the first floor only, approximately 400 square meter in total. On this site plan that you can see on the right bottom corner, there is that area for flex office. We intentionally select the location, and that's discussed with the city staff as well, because they want the transparent, animated streetscape be located at the intersection with the landscaping to make that intersection area be more lively.
And has that been taken into consideration in your parking analysis?
Yeah, that has been taken into consideration. I probably wouldn't really speak to the the performance, because I'm not the business owner. I don't have all the stats with it. But to be real honest, flex office, they're not busy. I've never seen a flex office that's very busy, and then so that's why, based on the operational experience, that parking is sufficient. And based on the current parking bylaw, I would assume that more people right now. The intention is that they can rely more on transit, which O'Connor does provide pretty good transit connection.
And you said 400 square feet was the size?
400 square
feet. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Oh, Dylan?
Yeah, how many desks are you planning in the flexible office space? How many desks? How many spaces?
That is I don't really have that answer because as of right now, it's being designed as a flex office, and then during the site plan application stages, we never been asked by the planning staff, regarding those detail, and then so it's.
We
it's an
call up
area-
the floor plan, the ground
Yeah,
floor
you can
plan.
I think that would be a good idea. To
Yeah,
pull
the
up
ground floor plan shows the layout. I don't know if that gives you a quantum, but it gives you a rough
and
idea.
it's hard to really give you a flat number. The reason is that it has a combination of sitting area in the public, so a more office sitting area, and it also has a couple of meeting room. So, and then it's actually, people can organize that office space like pretty freely, and then so it's hard to really tell, how many seats are in that area.
Wouldn't that
There's
be-
12 offices that I can count.
Wouldn't that be important in terms of transportation, of like assessing the transportation needs?
But then that has to, that's under the assumption that it's like a typical office. For example, City of Toronto, this office building is always full, but then a flex office is based on a reservation system. So the operator has a lot more control on the frequency of people coming, and also still based on the operational experience and based on the investigation from the TIS, the actual use of this flex office, they are not busy. To be honest, they're pretty empty for most of the time, and then only occasionally you will see usage. I wouldn't say that's a bad business, but it's a fact.
Okay. Page 10 of the transportation study, they look at some comparable storage areas.
Yep.
And they list at peak times up to 8 to 10 vehicles at the site.
Yeah, so that's also depends on, so in the TIS, the comparable is coming from different location. So we do have, for example, even just for Valtra itself, it has location in Markham, which is a very different community that definitely rely more on vehicle, and in some community, even the staff itself, will cost one parking space to operate that. But then in this more urban area, our assumption is that since it's more urban, and then the staff, and also there's more likelihood for the user to utilize transit to travel there rather than have to drive a car there.
Can you identify the transit routes that are available to people to use there?
Oh, that's unfortunately, I don't really know the number of it, but then I do know that on O'Connor, there is a bus route that go all the way from East York through O'Connor and then go up to Eglinton Crosstown. So that is a very busy bus route. And not far from there is the intersection of St. Clair and O'Connor. And then there is also one bus that goes from East York to St. Clair and then turn right on St. Clair and go all the way to Scarborough. So those two bus lines, there are pretty important existence in that area, and I did took that transit myself, and it appears to me very busy one.
Okay, thank you.
Paul?
Yeah, I just want to follow up on that. So I understand the storage model. I actually looked at access storage while we were looking at this. A lot of them have 5 to 10 spots for a storage facility because you're right, they probably have occasional usage, and you don't want someone to show up with their little truck and be no place to park, because then it's a bad business model because there's no place for people to unload. But then when you add on this flex office with really not really close transit lines, and you have up to 12 spaces plus conference rooms, and even the report suggests you have, I don't find your parking is appropriate. I think it's maybe for the storage only, but for the flex office, you should have another, and I know you're saying it's not a very energized or energetic place, but you want it to be, and people need parking. So if you only have a couple of spots, and those are taken up by people using your conference room, then the people using the storage have no place to park when they come in with their rig. I just don't get it. I think you're being too aggressive on the parking reduction. I really don't support that parking approach myself. And I think the report you provided also kind of contradicts the parking strategy. Where it says you have a peak load of 10 plus cars or whatever. So it doesn't make sense. Storage only, I kind of get it because it's a 24-hour facility. Someone shows up, dumps their stuff, and they don't see it for 3 years. We all get that. That's what's happening. But on a place which is commerce, conference rooms, people meeting, you want active parking. I don't see how that can work. And I think that the bylaw reduction is also telling that it's too aggressive. So I don't really support the parking reduction.
Can you, sir, can you just, I'm looking at your transportation impact study, and as I scroll through, I can't find any reference to the office. It seems to be all in relation to storage. So, I mean, I hate to put you on the spot, but is there a section in here that relates to the office?
In the parking justification section.
Sorry.
There is a parking justification section.
So the parking considerations?
I think, with your permission, may I have one more response?
Oh, sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. So, yeah, I think we are very, in this committee here, we are very bogged down to the, how many vehicles will actually use that site. But then if you look at the parking justification session, I believe there is a mention in that what we are looking at is a older bylaw. And then the reason that why we are applying for a minor variance is because we are under this old bylaw that was established in the last century. And then let's say the city right now is working on a process, and that bring the rest of the site into the citywide comprehensive bylaw 563/2013. Then we know that there is no minimum for office tier 2 and a self-storage warehouse. Then we can actually go for it, as of right. So basically, what we are asking here is that if four parking spaces for flex office and 4 parking spaces for the self-storage warehouse under the older bylaw, if, let's say, if it's not working, then basically we're also saying that the new bylaw that city just passed basically is also having some issue as well. So that's why in the parking justification, we do refer to the new parking requirement that with the transit route, that the new that an office actually do not need a parking spot at all.
Okay, any further questions? Okay, let's go into committee. Paul, I take it you're not going to support this?
I think he raises a good point. What's the current standard or the coming standard? I agree with that. That has to be factored in. I don't understand the practical functionality of the space, and without it having a negative impact on the adjacent landowners. Like and let's assume the place is fenced. So if someone wants to use, I don't get it. It's a lot of square footage. Like it's a lot of square footage.
So your concern is
I'm concerned that they're going to have no parking.
Yeah, for sure.
People are going to go shopping for the parking.
So it's variance number 2 that you're concerned about.
Yeah.
Okay, Dylan?
Well, first of all, I think the building's fine.
Yeah.
I have no problem with the building. It's nice design. But I agree, this doesn't convince me in terms of the parking. And I'm not usually one to care about parking. But this is not, I understand there's a bus route there, but it's not that easily accessible at transit. Nobody's taking transit to go to a storage space. Likely for people who are using the flex office, I would imagine they would want to drive because they may only be doing it for a couple hours. There's also going to be staff, probably a couple of staff for the storage. I'm not convinced that all of them will take transit either. I just don't convince. I mean, honestly, if they had 8 spots and it was all storage, I think I would be okay. But with the flex office plus the storage, I just not convinced that's enough parking space. I take the point that this new city bylaw requires nothing. Seems like an oversight to me because obviously a storage space needs parking. And obviously when, if there's a reservation system or, you know, one should give some leeway to, you know, the business knowing how much parking is needed. But I feel like, in fact, they're squeezing the parking because they know there can be some overflow in other areas, and they want to maximize the size of the building. So I don't think I can support this at the moment.
Okay, just one.
Yeah, sure, Paul.
I don't want to be down, like, that, when you look at the building and the landscape and the treatment of the O'Connor and Northline corner, they've done a lot of really good work here, I think, to try to make it do us, there's no landscape variance, there's none of that. But I do think they just went too lean on the parking. But I have to commend them for a nice building. It's a big building, and with a it seems like a sensitive corner treatment and landscape treatment to Northline and O'Connor.
Okay, thank you. Dino?
Thank you. Yeah, I have to concur with my colleagues on this. So, you know, we're looking at an older bylaw, obviously, a former North York bylaw. You know, and one wonders why, you know, the comprehensive harmonized zoning bylaw 569/2013 hasn't incorporated these yet, these older bylaws, but that does happen. Unfortunately, what we have in front of us, which is what we have to deal with, is 3 variances dealing with the former bylaw, 2 of them dealing with parking. And I understand that there's a new performance standard that's been introduced by the city. But we have to look at the 4 tests in the Planning Act. And one of the tests is minor. And it's not numeric so much as it is, you know, undue adverse impact. And we've heard from your neighbors that they feel that there will be an impact in terms of, you know, overflow parking, et cetera. So that's a legitimate concern of impact. So I agree. I think there's not enough parking here, given the fact that you're introducing flex office space. And I've used it. I've used that kind of office situation, and it does get busy. So, you know, let's say that the current bylaw says, you know, there's no minimum parking requirement. I still think it makes sense to try to envision additional parking to make sure that your business model works. So I can't support that either.
With your
Sorry,
permission.
are we in committee? We're in committee, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. We're in committee. So your time is over. Your time is over.
Yep.
Thank you.
So I'll say that my concern here is you know, much like, excuse me, much like Dylan, I usually really don't care about parking, but it's more so impacts to neighbors. You have a long established business next door. The gentleman has indicated, I've been there, I've used the car wash that he speaks of, he owns. And I agree that the treatment and architecture is an improvement, but really my hesitancy here is the impact on neighbors. Generally, a self-storage complex like this does have very low volume of traffic, but only 8 spots. Plus, my big concern is that office, and I did hear it referred to as 400 square feet and also 400 square meters. So that's a lot of difference in space. If you have, someone else made the point that people will be driving, people might only use the office space for 2, 3, 4 hours. So it's not enough treatment of parking to not be disruptive to the neighbors. Thank you.
Okay, then we'll look to someone for a motion. Paul, did you want to? I think your concern is variance number 2. So you could go with approving 1 and 3. I think I'm not even sure about 3. 3 gives 4 parking spaces for the warehouse.
Only 1.
I would just, I mean, if we don't say that there's not enough parking, then they may need to redesign the building, so.
Possibly. So you may want to refuse the whole thing.
Yeah, I think that it's hard to do variance 1 without 2 and 3 and vice versa.
Yeah, but and Dylan's right. They may have to reconfigure, do some
my motion
redesign.
would refuse the application.
Okay, motion by Mr. Gogan to refuse. To have a seconder. Mr. Reed, all in favor? Sorry, sir, it's been refused.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we move on to item number 24, 44 Douglas Crescent. This is an application to alter the existing two-story detached dwelling by constructing a rear basement addition with a ground floor concrete covered deck above. Committee has before it a copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevation, 6 photographs of trees in the subject property. We have staff reports from Ravine and Natural Feature Protection and from Community Planning. We have correspondence from 35 and 33 Douglas Crescent in support, and 4 form letters in support from 43, 45, and 46 Douglas Crescent.
Okay, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online and no other registered speakers for this item.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir.
Drew, you've unmuted.
Oh, sorry about that. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Drew Laszlo, agent for the owner. My address is 193 Rowe Avenue, Toronto.
Great, thank you, sir. Hang on a sec. Panel, does anyone need a presentation on this one?
No, thank you, Chair.
Okay, sir, we've read your application. We're familiar with the material. We don't need a presentation today. Is there anything you'd like to share with the panel before we take it into committee for a decision?
No, I believe the application is pretty straightforward. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, let's go into committee. It looks like it's all below ground, so yes, Dino.
Yeah, I can support this application. The 3 variances that are being requested in my mind are minor. I also don't think that this proposal in terms of the variances 1 and 2 are really limited to the basement level. Those variances don't abrogate the new standards that the city has imposed in terms of setbacks below grade for what we term colloquially iceberg homes. I don't think this is one of them, but I don't see an issue with it. So I'm prepared to move a motion to approve the application and grant the 3 variances.
There are conditions.
What's the condition?
Planning conditions and
Yeah, just the
RNFP.
planning.
And RNFP.
Oh, okay.
Well,
so
RNFP is an advisory.
It's
memo.
advisory, so
Yeah.
Is
Is there one condition?
Number 1 as well as.
Oh, okay.
Yes, through you,
So-
Mr. Chair, that's correct.
Okay, so there is an RNFP.
All right, so the planning condition, which is the owner shall construct, substantially in accordance with the site plan, and also the other
Okay.
condition, yeah.
Motion by Mr. Lombardi to approve, seconded by,
I'll second and add
with a
that, like,
comment?
there's still a lot of soft landscaping behind it, so I agree that it doesn't really impact,
Yeah.
even though it's underneath.
Good point. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you have your approval. Thank you, sir. Item number 25 is 1982 Queen Street East has been postponed. So we skip over to item number 26, which is 4 Herndale Avenue. This is an application to alter the existing 2-story detached dwelling by constructing a rear 1-story addition at the northwest corner of the dwelling with a basement addition below. The existing basement walkout will be demolished. Committee has before it a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, and 5 photographs of the subject property. We have our agent.
To you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online and no other speakers.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon again. Andrew Locicero of Cicero Designs, address 34 McIntyre Lane, Ajax, Ontario.
Okay, hang on a sec, sir. Again, panel, anyone need a presentation? No. Sir, we've read your application. We're familiar with the material. We don't need a presentation today. It's a fairly straightforward request. Is there anything you'd like to share with the panel before we take it into committee for a decision?
No, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, do you have a question, Dino?
Yeah, well, just a comment for the applicant. I'm looking at your linked document, which is the photographs that you provided.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Sorry, you're right. Through you, Mr. Chair, I'm looking at the linked document that you provided, the photos of the property. Can you see those, the first page?
Yep.
I believe those are reversed. You have the rear elevation, that's the front elevation, correct?
Oh, yes, it is.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Nothing gets by the Committee of Adjustment.
My apologies.
That's it. I was looking at it.
All right, let's go into committee. Dino, I'm going to make you do a motion because of that.
Yeah, I have no problem with one variance.
Microphone.
Sorry. I have no problem with this application. It requests one variance. It's a pretty straightforward addition, and I can support the application, and I'll move a motion.
Okay, motion by Mr. Lombardi to approve this application, no conditions, seconded by Mr. Cogan. All in favor? You have your approval, sir. Thank you. Move on to item number 27, 186 Roxton Road. This is an application to alter the existing two-story semi-detached dwelling by constructing a side one-story addition, a rear two-story addition, and a partial third-story addition with a rear deck. Also to alter the existing one-story detached garage in the rear yard abutting the lane by reducing a front portion of the building and to construct a front canopy structure. Committee has before it a copy plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, revised zoning notice received January the 14th, 4 photographs of trees on the subject property, correspondence from the agent. We have comparables submitted by the agent, staff report from Urban Forestry, correspondence and support from 188 Roxton, and 6 form letters in support from 407 Ossington and 158, 174, 182, 184, and 187 Roxton. Good afternoon, sir.
To you, Mr. Sorry. To you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent here in person and one registered speaker at 188 Roxton Road in support, but I tried multiple times, but I couldn't reach this speaker.
Okay. Great. Okay, sir. Name and address, please.
My name is Tyler Walker, 38 Tiverton Avenue, and I'm the agent for the owners of 186 Roxton.
Okay, sir. Just a quick overview. It's a very straightforward application, but it feels kind of complicated.
Okay. I mean, I might as well just read.
Do what you want.
Sure. Okay. I'm the designer representing the owners, one of whom is here. Joe, hello. Oh, there we go. Thank you. My clients absolutely love their neighborhood, and they've been here for 14 years, and they wish to live there long into the future. In fact, the reason we're here today is to try to accommodate their aging parents and growing children. This is the motivation behind their request today. I know technically it's not relevant, but it gives you a sense of where this project is coming from. To that end, we feel our proposal meets all 4 of the committee's criteria for approval. It's appropriate for the development of the land and building. It satisfies the general intent and purpose of the city's zoning bylaw. It satisfies the general intent and purpose of the city's official plan, and the variances requested are minor. In a funny symmetry, with the committee's criteria, we feel there are 4 main reasons to support our proposal. There are no objections from any overseeing institutions. There are no objections within the community. The variances being requested are common, and the proposed design is in keeping with the neighborhood. Institutions. In the process of applying to the committee, Community Planning and Urban Forestry reviewed our design, and they have no objections to our proposal. Urban Forestry has a condition which we are happy to accept. Community. Our clients canvassed door to door, introducing our project to their neighbors, and were met with no opposition. They were even able to collect 7 signatures from their closest neighbors to attest to that. This is reflected in our supporting documentation. Further to this, no neighborhood opposition was submitted to the committee. Commonality. Within a few blocks of my client's property, we were able to identify numerous situations with similar conditions to the variances we are requesting. These are also reflected in our supporting documents. We found 12 examples of similar rear yard soft landscaping, 3 examples of similar ancillary building lot coverages, and 61 examples of similar floor space indexes. Within this neighborhood, these build conditions are very common. The strongest reason, though, to support our proposal is how in keeping the design is with the neighborhood itself. During the design process, my clients and I were keenly focused on making sure our proposal responded positively to its surroundings and context. We worked very hard to maintain the scale of the existing house and to maintain how well it fits in with the neighborhood. My clients repeatedly met with their attached neighbor at 188 Roxton to make sure she was comfortable with everything we were proposing. This contextual design strategy is most apparent in the third story. It was designed to be almost invisible from Roxton Road and set back from the rear yard to minimize its visual impact. Further to that, we took pains to avoid 2 existing trees near the back of the house and increased the amount of rear yard soft landscaping from 19 to 25%. Finally, the existing garage is a dilapidated mess. However, instead of tearing it down and starting again, my clients would like to repair it, making it useful and beautiful again. All of these decisions within the design process combine to make a proposal that is both sensitive to its surroundings and allows the homeowner's family to expand and flourish. For these reasons, we feel the proposal satisfies all 4 of the committee's criteria. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think the panel probably shares this concern, is the rear landscaping.
Okay.
We appreciate that you've improved it. But I'm looking at your site plan, so if we can call the site plan up. It looks like your landscaping are the strips along the side and in behind the garage.
That's right.
Okay, so what is that surface that's in the middle there?
That would be paving for my clients to be able to use the backyard if it's all soft landscaping. Unfortunately, the existing garage takes up an enormous amount of the percentage of the backyard.
Yeah, your coverage is pretty high, yeah?
Yeah. So the rest would be for them to be able to socialize.
Well,
back there.
notwithstanding, you've got planning on site, community plan. I mean, half of what's required is tough.
Yes.
So, and I appreciate they're looking for something that they can walk on or patio or whatever.
Exactly.
But is there a way you guys can do better than that?
We might be able to do a little bit better than that. Is there a percentage that you feel is?
Again, I can't give you a number, right? It kind of, you're supposed to have 50%, which is half. You're halfway there.
Yep. We did find a lot of examples in the neighborhood that had.
Fair enough, but there's no precedence. We take every application on its own.
It is common for the neighborhood itself.
Understand that, but City Council has been quite adamant of late to require more soft landscaping because of the flooding situation, and everyone's got to do, frankly, their bit.
Okay.
So what I'm asking you is there, can you do better than 25%? If you say no, then the committee will take that under consideration.
I'm sure we could find a way to do a little bit better than that. Yep.
And I need from you what that could be.
I'm sure we could do 30%.
Okay. What do you guys think?
That's better than 25.
That's better than 25. Okay. Do you know what the square meterage would be if it was at 30%?
I do not know, but I can figure it out.
Could you? And in the meantime, let's go into committee. Do you have a question?
No, do you want to hold this down?
No, I think you'll do it regular. Just let's go into committee and see what people think.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Chair.
Oh, we have a positive speaker?
No. We have a revised zoning notice. So there's only 3 variances on the revised zoning notice instead of the 4 that went out. So the applicant will just have to confirm, is variance number 2 being removed? And that would be the height of all side exterior main walls.
Yes, the specified pairs of main walls has been removed.
Removed,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
So that's variance number 2.
Yeah, so there's just 3 variances now. Thank you, Sabrina.
So 30% would be 33.15 meters squared.
Okay, thank you. You have a question?
Are we in committee?
We are now in committee, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I just want to say, first of all, how pleased I am to see the work outreach that was done to the neighbors. It's really nice to see a proposal that is actively supported by the 2 immediate neighbors. Appreciate that a lot. I'm fine with 30%. That's a significant improvement over 19%. And it is strange and constrained space. So that's fine with me. And I think it's very sensitive. They've gotten a lot of extra space without really having a lot of impact on the front, and I really appreciate that. So I'm enthusiastically in support of this.
Okay. Dino?
Thank you. Yeah, I concur with my colleague. It warms my heart too when I hear applicants and owners have reached out to the community, neighbors, abutting neighbors, those in the neighborhood, because so many times you hear at this committee and when I was with TLAB, residents coming together, support and opposition, say, they didn't talk to me, or I didn't know anything about the application. So it's really, really encouraging to hear that. So I commend you for that. Yeah, I agree. This is supportable as well. You've provided, previous committee of adjustment decisions, which do add to my view of the application, so I can support it as well.
Okay, I think that's, Dylan, did you want to make a motion?
Yeah, sure. I will make a motion to approve the variances as revised with the 30% very soft landscaping and with the forestry condition number 2.
All right, motion by Mr. Reed, seconded by Mr. Lombardi. All in favor?
Aye.
You have your approval. Thank you,
so
sir.
much.
Can we have a short break?
Sure. Do you need 5 or 10?
I think 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paul says 5.
No, do your
7.
7. Well, I think the next one might be a little long, so get to stretch the legs and get ready.
Yeah, they even have a rendering of it.
Hmm?
Even have a rendering of the building the next one.
Oh, this is the next one?
Yeah.
It's changed the way.
Members, please turn off your videos and microphones.
I think into the supplemental, there's a different one.
Okay, we resume. We move on to item number 28, 18 Armadale Avenue. This is an application to construct a new 3-story detached dwelling with a front integral 1-car garage, a front second-story covered porch with stairs, a rear basement walkout, a rear second-story deck, covered deck with stairs, and a rear third-story balcony. Committee has before it a copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 5 photographs of the subject property, covering letter from the agent, comparable approval submitted by the agent, a revised site plan, floor plans, elevations received January 22nd, red line public notice received January 23rd, revised zoning notice received January 22nd, and a covering letter from the agent. We have email correspondence from community planning and from 2 emails from community planning. We have 5 letters of support from owners occupants of 4 and 15 Hazelbrae, 6 Sunnybrook, 11 Willard Gardens, and 41 Armadale. Correspondence and support from 4 Sunnybrook, and 1 form letter in support from 10 Armadale.
To Mr. Chair, we have the agent here in person and...
Sorry, I'm not...
oh,
we have some opposition.
Oh.
That's the next page.
Sorry.
We have correspondence and opposition from 23 Armadale, 16, 14, 28 Armadale, and 2 Sunnybrook. Sorry, now.
To Mr. Chair, we have the agent here in person and we have 4 registered speakers in opposition online and 1 registered speaker in opposition in person as well.
Okay. Good morning, or good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name is Sabel Mesne from QBS Architects, 14 Crofton Road. I am the agent.
Okay. Some folks want to speak to this, so we'll need a presentation, please.
Absolutely. So our clients are residents of Bloor West Village for about 12 years right now. Their family grew, so they kept looking in the neighborhood, and then when the opportunity came, they purchased this property and they hired us to design multi-generation house to accommodate their growing family. The original design we had 2 major criteria that the client wanted us to accommodate, which is the integral car garage. For safety reasons, she has young kids and she wanted to maintain direct access from the house to the garage. And the other one was to maintain the existing basement level. Where is the existing basement level? Because there has been a history of a flood, specifically in this property. So hence we maintained the existing floor of the basement level as it is. We are here before you to request only 3 minor variances. The original design has been changed. The variances have been reduced based on our conversation with the community planning and with some of the neighbors' concerns. So the house at this moment is only considered as 2-story house. We reduced the FSI from 1.14 to 0.83. That's been accommodated by pulling one of the walls, so that's on the right-hand side, which is above the garage as well as the basement now is going to be considered the basement instead of the first floor. We are introducing roof trusses to ensure that there will be no gap between, no void between the floor of the ground floor and the ceiling of the basement, which meets the zoning definition. I have met personally with managers of zoning review yesterday. They were amazing, and they confirmed they are satisfied with this approach. We also reduced the impact of the height of the side walls by introducing eaves at 8 meters, which to the satisfaction of planning as well. Originally, the variance was bigger, 9.56. Now it's...
Sorry, I'm just going to stop you there. I should have done this earlier.
Sure.
And I'll stop your time. But there is a red line notice. So
correct.
So, you're... I'm looking at something other than that. Pardon me, continue.
No problem. So these are the exact same items like I was speaking with. So the side yard setback, which is variance number 2, has been reduced to only be requested at the garage level. We pulled the walls above, so all walls above grade now comply with side yard setback. There are no openings or eaves encroaching on this 0.3. We have one window which is within the allowable side yard setback, and the client is more than happy to introduce frosted glass. So the variance number 3, which is the maximum permitted height of side walls, that's been reduced from 9.59 to 8 meter by introducing the eaves. And variance number 4 has been removed because now the deck is considered at the ground floor level. So this variance is not required.
Okay.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Chair, purpose of application, should we also amend it to read to construct a new 2-story detached? Is
That's
that
correct.
how
Yes.
zoning is going to review this
Yes.
as? Okay.
Yes, we did receive a revised zoning
Zoning.
yesterday, but it was too late to submit to committee.
And through you, Mr. Chair, so variance number 1 is going to be amended or revised to read 0.3 times the area of the lot, which is 313.24 square meters. Variance number 2, then do we just say the ground floor wall or the ground floor of the dwelling will be located?
I think 2 stays the same because it's effectively.
Well,
It's only there's still the ground floor that's located.
well, here it reads the new dwelling will be located 0.3 meters. Do we have to be a little bit more specific given the change?
I agree, yeah, we should. We're not usually that specific.
Unless you were to tie it to elevation plans to show,
We should totally do that.
yeah, and site plan. Okay.
We are fine either way. You could mention to the garage because this is only where it's required, and it's labeled clearly on our site plan and our floor plans.
Okay.
And then 3 and 4, right? Oh, 4 is eliminated.
4 and 3 is changed.
Yes, variance number 3 will now be side exterior main walls of a height of 8 meters.
Correct.
Okay. That's it?
Yep, I will be more than happy to answer any questions. The clients are really eager to build this home, and we are more than happy to accommodate any requests from the neighbors in terms of privacy enhancing. They are more than happy to install privacy screens on the deck and on the master bedroom balcony if it's required. We did also change the look of the house by introducing the front cover porch based on our discussion with planning to change basically the massing. So I'm here to answer any questions from neighbors or committee members.
Okay, great. Thanks very much. Well, I think we'll hear from the folks who want to speak to this item first. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we have someone here who wants to speak to this. Hi, come on up. Name and address, please, sir.
Sure. I'm Jonathan Lee, and I'm at 16 Armadale Avenue, next to
Okay.
the property.
Had you had an opportunity to see these revised plans?
I only got to see the revised notice on Friday, and I've been, I'm not an architect or anything like that, so I've been doing my best, but I have a full-time
Okay.
job as well.
Okay.
So,
All right, sir, you have 5 minutes.
thank you. I'm here to tell you about the direct impacts that these proposed variances will have on our family and our home that's next door to the planned renovation. The way we look at it is that a variance to a bylaw should be granted in situations where there's no negative impacts from that variance. Otherwise, the bylaw should be respected. These variants will negatively and directly impact us in 4 ways. First, there will be excessive shadowing to our entire property. There will be overmassing that adds substantial and unnecessary stress to the soil integrity of the area, which is sensitive. An excessively large building that eliminates our privacy and reduces the accessibility of our property for our younger son who has a disability and uses a wheelchair. We would like this committee to consider these impacts when they make the decision and ideally deny these variances to protect our family from these negative impacts. As you mentioned, The applicant submitted these revised plans last week. When you look at them, they're essentially identical. They added some gutters and a cavity above their mudroom to get around the bylaws. It's empty on the plans, it says cavity. So our concerns apply equally to both sets of plans. And while each variance is significant on our own, their combined impact fundamentally undermines the intent of the bylaws and the official plan and impacts our family. So our comments apply to all of the requested variances. So first, I'd like to discuss how the proposed variances produce excessive massing that will put the vast majority of our property into a shadow. At this time of year, with the angle of the sun, the proposed building would cast a 16 or 17 meter long shadow across our property. Our entire lot's only 10.4 meters wide. Last fall, we'd been looking into adding solar panels to our roof. We got quotes before receiving the public notice for this plan and learning about the size of the proposed structure. And then we got updated quotes to see how we'd have to adjust. If these variances are allowed, the disproportionate massing significantly reduces the energy generation of our property, such that we can no longer use solar to meet our electricity needs, whereas we could have before. So we ask that you deny all of these variances as a result, and especially ask that the applicants stay within the height bylaws and make conditions to preserve our ability to generate solar power from our rooftop in line with the city's official plan to achieve net zero emissions by 2040. Next, I'd like to let you know some specific issues about the soil conditions in our part of Swansea. The applicant mentioned this very briefly. We're in one of Toronto's many ravines, and we're very close to the groundwater here. Studies done as part of the Bloor-West Village Avenue project found that, quote, any development application proposed within the study area should be subject to a detailed hydrogeological review. We haven't seen that from the applicants. We've spoken to a home inspector who let us know that this area has, quote, high porosity, sandy and silty soil that is prone to instability. We're telling you all of this because the excessive mass of these combined variances add tons of weight and stress to the soil, dramatically limiting any further development in this area, including accessibility renovations for our home. So the proposal is inappropriate for the site due to the sheer size and massing of the development if these variances are allowed. Third, these combined variances produce an overbuilt home that negatively impacts our privacy. The proposal includes a 14 square meter back deck that comes off of the main floor, which is 2.89 meters up in the air, 9.5 feet in the air. Our eaves are 2.87 meters, so the proposed back deck is higher than our eaves, and it's right next to our backyard and looks into our children's bedroom windows, impacting our privacy. So the combined variances are not appropriate for our neighboring land. We ask that the variances be denied and that the applicants specifically be required to adjust their plan to maintain our privacy. Finally, I'd like to tell you about how the combined variances would negatively impact our son's ability to access our home. As I mentioned, our younger son has a physical disability and uses a wheelchair to get around. It was hard to find a home that could truly meet our family's needs, and we felt grateful to be able to purchase this one. And now we're working on how to add a wheelchair ramp to enter the house. We've gotten advice that we need to put it at the back of the home, leading directly into his bedroom, which would mean we'd have to contend with the excessive massing from the combined variances here and whatever else they may add if they want to access their backyard from our driveway. So we can't accept any easements onto our property that would reduce our son's ability to use the property, such as getting into the house and into the car due to the excessive massing and inappropriate size if these variances are approved. So we ask that you simply deny these variances as they reduce the current conditions of accessibility for our neighboring house due to the inappropriate size and mass created by the combined variances. They're not desirable or in line with the city's commitments for supporting accessible housing. However, if you do allow the variances, we request some conditions be applied so that the accessibility to our home is not reduced and stays in line with the city's official plan supporting accessible housing. To summarize, the proposed variances combined would negatively impact us through excessive shadowing, unnecessary strain on the soil, significantly reduce privacy, and decrease accessibility for our son. They're not desirable, they're not appropriate for the site, and they're not in line with the city's official plan for net zero emissions by 2040 or supporting accessible housing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm not sure where the panel's going to go on this one, but you did say there's some conditions that you would like to see.
Sure.
What would those be?
So I'm not a planner or an architect. Ideally, the simplest approach would be to refuse the application and have the applicants work with us to understand what those specific needs would be. But any potential adjustments or conditions would sort of need to recognize that the source of the impact is the combined effects of the massive structure from all the different variances combined. So any adjustments or concessions to those variances, if they're still, approved in some form or another, if they lead to an excessively massive building next door to us, it's hard for me to understand exactly what those forms would look like. We're not saying no to everything, right? But we need to understand exactly what's being proposed before we can, agree to something.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, questions here. Dino, did you have a question?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to the deputy. I heard you talk about the rear second-story deck. I don't know if you noticed, but the revised red line public notice indicates that variance number 4 has been removed. I just don't know if you're aware of that. So the variance for the platform has been removed.
Yes, I'm aware of that. So
okay.
my comments are speaking to the combined effects of the existing variances that are still at play, which combine to form an excessively massive development here, which includes a deck that is still at the exact same elevation above grade.
And if I'm not mistaken, you heard the applicant say that it's now a 2-story instead of 3-story?
Yes, I did hear that.
Okay, I just want.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Dylan?
Yeah, noting the privacy issue, would you, if we were to approve it, would you want us to specify privacy screening at the sides of the deck and the balcony?
Subject to seeing exactly what it looks like. It's my first time doing this. That sounds like something I'd be interested in hearing about. However, if that's, opaque, that would impose additional, shading on the rest of our property as well.
Yeah, so it's something that we can impose, but we need to get guidance from you as to whether you want it. So you're right, it would be opaque and it would create possibly additional shading, but it would provide privacy. So I realize we're putting you on the spot, but we kind of need to know if we're going to approve this, which we may or may not do. But if we do it, we would want to know whether you want us to impose that condition.
I appreciate that. My wife was here earlier. She had to go home and pick up our kids, so she's probably looking at me online right now like, should he say something, should he not say something? On my gut, that sounds like it would be a net benefit, but again, the variances all combined still impose an excessive mass that.
Yeah. I mean, we can also just impose it on the top balcony and not on the deck, but you were pointing out the deck is already quite high. So
Yeah, it hasn't reduced its elevation, nor has the rest of the house.
So, and there would be a certain massing effect for you. But would you want us, if we do approve it, to have privacy screening on the deck as well as the second floor balcony?
Yes, with the caveat that would have negative impacts on other portions of our property. If I had to choose, that sounds like it would be a small net improvement.
Okay, thank you.
Hope you don't get into trouble.
16 Armadale Avenue.
So you're just west, right?
Just to the west.
Yeah. So it'd be the morning sun that would be affected.
That's right.
And also the parking, the side setback is on the parking side of the building, which doesn't affect your property line really, because I'm sorry, that there's no, the side yard setback request revised is on the garage side of the proposed project. So anyway.
Yeah, that's correct. I think it does still impact the overall mass of the building and its footprint as it's pressing on the soil, but I think you're correct about that.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, sir. Is there anyone else here speaking to this item or online? Online?
Nicholas, you've unmuted.
Good afternoon, Nicholas Singh, Swansea Area Ratepayers Association. Okay, I'll start.
Yep, go ahead.
Thank you. We strongly support the comments from community planning that were dated January 9th. It's very rare to see community planning raise concerns, and I think their letter speaks clearly to the situation. We also recognize the concerns of the neighbors and the impact that this proposal will have. I think the question is if the revisions are sufficient to resolve the concerns that were raised. Now, I understand that there's a revised notice as opposed to a red line notice. Are those two different things we're looking at?
We're looking at the red line notice that was up on the screen earlier. Did you get a chance to see that?
Yes, I did. I'll address my comments to that then.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah. So we've reviewed the revised plans and the changes made. We understand that the changes are cosmetic and technical in nature. And while they address issues with this application, the changes do not resolve the inappropriateness of this project for this area of Swansea. On screen, could I get from the revised plans, page A31? As per the applicant's letter, they say the modified basement ceiling height to be considered as a basement, hence it won't be considered in the FSI. I heard the comment saying that this has been approved by the city. However, I haven't had a chance to address the city on this, but our feeling is the creation of this cavity is used to artificially lower the height of the basement. That's above the established grade, so that this space is no longer included in the FSI. The bylaw defining the bylaw defining the first floor versus the basement and defining the FSI were written in recognition that buildings where basements are more above the established grade than below the established grade create undesirably high buildings. By including such basements in the FSI calculation, the height of the buildings could be controlled. The bylaw definition for basements uses floor joists, not ceilings, for measurement. And we believe that this false cavity here, this false ceiling, doesn't qualify. And we believe that this building is still including the FSI, and that first floor is still the first floor. Point 2 of the architect's letter says that the change will eliminate the rear deck. We believe we may be back here with an application for that. Point 3 of the architect's letter reads, we have introduced eaves on both side walls. Could we look at page A32? Okay, because I believe these really speak to the changes that were made. So 3A1 and 3A2 really show you what changes have been made. We can see that there's no genuine change to the height of the walls. The reduction from 10 to 8 meters has been achieved with an apron, if you will, that extends the eaves troughs down the wall by 2 meters. This apron does little to actually reduce the massing and height of this very imposing and disruptive building, as highlighted by the community planning letter. Overall, in our view, the only real change to the design was the setback above the garage that was brought in line with the rest of the building. In our view, the changes are cosmetic, fail to resolve the concerns regarding how this proposal fails to fit in with the community, and we strongly recommend that the amended variances not be approved. I'll conclude there, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Panel, any questions? No. Thank you very much. Our next speaker, please.
Leanne, you have unmuted.
Hi, it's Leanne Ferns, 23 Armadale Avenue.
All right, ma'am. You have 5 minutes.
Sure. We have lived on this street for over 30 years. And what drew us to this neighborhood, and particularly this street, was the historic charm and the character of the homes, the Tudor style, the leaded glass windows, the stone masonry. And over the years, people have renovated, and many of our neighbors have really taken into account the surrounding architecture. We know a lot of our neighbors, the facade of the house has been preserved, so you wouldn't even know that these homes had a big renovation. They've gone out the back. And in particular, some examples are number 17, 15, and 7 Armadale. So we just basically want to maintain the blended curb appeal of our street. I realize that the revision now is a 2-story, which is good because we were very concerned about the overall scale of this house. But yeah, from talking to other neighbors, you know, we kind of want to maintain this little pocket of charm that we have. It's very unique to Toronto. And that's just basically heartfelt from our 30 years of living in this street neighborhood. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Any questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks.
Next speaker.
Artemis, you've unmuted.
Oh.
Hello.
Sorry. Can you turn?
Hang on a sec. You're getting a lot of feedback. Do you have more than one device open?
Yes, we do. Can you close just one?
If you could close one of them, please.
Webinar. Okay. Come on. What is happening?
Artemis, how are you there? Did we lose him?
Can you guys hear me now?
Oh, there you go.
Alexander, you've
Yes.
unmuted.
Okay. Sorry.
There you go. That's better. Name and address, please, sir.
Alexander Baker and Artemis Lee, 28 Armadale. We are the neighbors directly adjacent to the east. We do not live in the home. I'll say that up front. We live in Texas. Career brought us down here, but we maintain ownership of the home. We have renters who've been there for years. It's effectively their home. It's not a high turnover home, obviously, because it's a beautiful area and a beautiful place to be. And it's a place that we do intend to move back to in the future, or we did intend to. I don't like the direction that this is going based on what I'm seeing here. There's a few things I want to say on a technical point, and then some of the softer points that I want to address. And I'm going to start with the softer points. I heard you all earlier in a discussion about a previous property talk about how it's heartening when you see the neighbors having been consulted and in support of a project. I generally agree with that, and what we have here is antithetical to that situation. In fact, from our perception, what happened is these owners, knowing that the project that they're proposing is so far out of step with the aesthetics of the neighborhood. I mean, we understand that what we're talking about here are zoning bylaws, and that within a certain parameter, people have a right to do with their property what they want. But it is shocking to us that anybody looking at this street, and I'm looking at the photos on the screen right now, would think that this design is an appropriate way to enter a neighborhood and generate goodwill. Now, most of the folks who've spoken already have been quite polite, and I will maintain a decorum. But I represent the emotion in speaking to several of these people with the shocking disregard to the absolute neglect of their incoming neighbors for the design choices they have made. This is a flat concrete building amongst a bunch of beautiful, old, brick, nearly century-old homes. It's just a level of selfishness that, frankly, it is appalling. And so when we see somebody going around and trying to talk to the neighbors that live farther away from the house and garner their support, and only at the very last minute reach out to my wife and send a text in a clear effort to try to see if they can persuade us to sign on to something. Look, I negotiate for a living. That's not good faith. That's not an effort to genuinely engage with neighbors. That's an effort to try to trap the people who live beside them into a position where they've sought the people with the lowest possible interest in the design choices to collect their approval and use the weight of those approvals to push something on those immediately adjacent. I find that, frankly, not great behavior, to put it lightly. So that's the feeling about this. And I can hear the tone of my voice, and I frankly don't like having to show up and sound this way. It's not how I want to be in these situations. I heard a comment from the agent at the beginning about, we're open to things that the neighbors would want to see. Well, step one would be go back to your drawing board and find a design that actually looks like it fits in this neighborhood and not somewhere in North Richmond Hill. So now to the technical points. The first thing is, we acknowledge that there is already a breach of a bylaw in the sense that the setback adjacent to our property is closer than it should be. Not a breach on our side, breach on the other side. But here's the thing. Right now, it's about 6.2 meters, give or take. And their proposal is to extend that duration up to 9.2 meters. So they make this argument that, well, this is already a problem. Sure, if they were going to keep that the same, that would be one thing. But the idea that there's already a problem, so exacerbating it further is not an issue. That's a quality of logic I just can't quite wrap my head around, and I cannot endorse. The second thing is that because of the switch of plans, it's not clear to us that there's actually now no back deck. If that's been removed, that's great, but I would echo entirely the comments that Jonathan made about the fact that this thing was going to essentially tower over and being an inward look to our backyard. If that is still part of the plan, that it simply cannot be. And I will go further and say that like privacy stuff is not good enough, because what that will do is simply limit our visual out of our property as well. And again, if you just look at the character and the nature of this neighborhood, the structure is so out of whack that we would then having to be making accommodations for the fact that they've made design choices that are so far out of the realities of the structures that they are around. And the last point I will make is to height. Basically, our kitchen windows and the bedroom window in which our tenants currently sit, our tenants' kids have their bedroom. I mean, it's not clear to me, but it looks to me essentially like there's not going to be any light coming into those anymore. That's not going to happen. And depending on where their windows end up, and seems to be some ambiguity in the pictures around this, they're going to be able to look right into our property, and privacy is just going to be taken away again. And more than that, they're going to obstruct any view on the outside. Now, I want to restate the fact that I understand that people have the freedom to do with their property within the laws as they do, but part of the whole purpose and the coordinated purpose among the group of neighbors who are so frustrated by this is that it would be my responsibility to communicate on an emotional level the dissatisfaction and frankly the level of disrespect that this design brings. And I'll say the other thing on this that really bothers me is that this is a watershed, because we know we can look around Toronto and see this happen. These bungalows get purchased, something like this gets built, and then within 3 to 4 years, there's 7 more of these. Now, if Toronto, which is one of the most beautiful cities on the continent, wants to maintain its pockets of excellent structures, we have to have neighbors, and I would implore our new neighbors to take this into account, who try to maintain aesthetic consistency and abide by the character of the neighborhood they're moving into, rather than come in and say, you know what, this is going to be the way that we like it now. It's frankly a level of selfishness that it bothers me to my core. So on the specifics, the height is too high. It's outside the bylaw. I want that rejected. The setback, I do not want it extended beyond the current issue that it already is. And if there is not a deck, then I can drop that issue. But the way that it was proposed in the plan that we saw, and like the folks who spoke before, you know, we don't do this full time and we have full-time jobs. So did we have a chance to get into it? It was a little bit confusing, but we don't want that either. And so I've made my point on the qualitative feeling about it and on the technicals, but frankly, in this property, with how out of step with the neighborhood, these folks should have to adhere strictly.
I'm sorry,
to the
sir.
bylaw.
I
That's
was
it.
falling asleep at my job. You exceeded your time. Are you finished?
Yeah, I was done. I finished right then.
Thank you very much. Pardon me. All right, next speaker. Yeah. Any questions? No. How far did he go over?
Hello. I'm Lana Strakova Lazier, owner of 14 Armadale 2nd West from the proposed development. I join and concur to what was said before and would like to raise a few additional points. First, we are concerned about this late submission of revised plans. These materials were provided too close to the hearing date to allow neighbors a fair opportunity to review and respond. We reviewed, however, and found the revisions did not address the issues raised. Instead, they appear to undermine prior analysis and neighbors' comments. Revisions are not substantive. What was mentioned, revised plan introduces a cavity in the mudroom to reduce first floor ceiling height and classify that level as a basement. Renaming of levels eliminated need for exceptions required to what functions as a second story. This is an artificial adjustment for purposes of this review. Similarly, introducing a roof angle to discount wall height does not materially reduce the building's mass and visual impact. The height of overall approximately 10 meters stays, bulk and other attributes of the structures are preserved. Given this, we ask the original neighbor's submission and adjustments prepared following a detailed review of the original plans remain valid and considered by the committee. Second, use of previous exceptions as precedents. Application references other variances approved in this area. We believe that applications need to meet, obviously, four-part test and are case-by-case specific. In other words, an exception is always an exception. It is not a rule. Past approvals were considered individually, often involving limited relief and in a different context. Different height, inclination, ground, neighboring properties, obstruction of view, even hill, everything matters. Exceptions cannot be aggregated, amplified, or treated as a new standard. In this case, the impacts are clear: increased shadowing, excessive massing, loss of privacy, groundwater risk, and infrastructure strain. The proposed building is not appropriate, is very different in style visually, massive, and would be situated in a very difficult low-lying lot. Talking about this, as I said, the proposed house is disproportionate to the physical constraint of the site. This is a low-lying part of Armadale with challenging underground water condition and eastward inclination. We cannot underpin under our basements. We cannot dig. Any additional weight is a problem. Introducing a building of this size and footprint risks altering groundwater movement. A structure of the scale and weight can displace and reroute groundwater toward adjacent properties, particularly to the west. If downstream flooding or damage occurs as a result of groundwater diversion, the financial, insurance, and repair burdens should not fall on neighboring homeowners. These risks arise directly from the proposal requiring big variance. In addition, the size and configuration of the dwelling, 3 full stories, 2 entrances, and a floor area far beyond what is permitted, introduces a building with a functional capacity greater than of a typical single-family home. If this capacity is fully utilized now or in the future, it will place additional strain on local infrastructure, including weak sewage and servicing systems. This again shows that the proposal is substantial deviation from zoning parameters. Now, Swansea neighborhood is still defined by a relatively consistent housing form. Specifically, this low-lying part of Armadale has bungalow row. This is not accidental, and it's not part of economic limitation. Residents have chosen the scale and character because it creates balance, light, privacy, and coherent streetscape. The proposed house is visually and physically dominant. It masses around 9 meters high, and proximity to lot lines creates increased shadowing, loss of privacy, and even psychological burden on adjacent homeowners who will be faced with an overwhelming structure immediately next to them. The design itself, a large square-like form that does not reflect the established architectural rhythm, is very, very different. The Committee of Adjustments here, as we see and we hope, plays a critical role in protecting neighborhoods like this from gradual erosion. By the way, here, the high number of objections at this hearing reflects broader concern about this trend and signals the community views this proposal as another step in this direction. We truly trust the committee members would support and protect the established neighborhood from impact and influence
Ma'am,
of...
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to interrupt you there. Your time has run out. Is there anything you'd like to conclude?
We're not against the building in general, but within the permissible limits specific to the community and respectful to the neighbors, because those limits have been introduced here for a reason.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Any questions, speaker? No? Okay, is that our speakers? That's it? One more? Okay, we're done? All right, have the agent back. All right, ma'am. You've heard some concerns. I wonder if you could take a moment to try and address those.
Absolutely. Number one, for our next door neighbor. So since December, our client went door to door and she distributed the package and my contacts and her contacts. If they had any concerns, that they could have contacted us. Number one, we don't have a height variance, so our overall height is within the allowable bylaw. We don't have any side yard setback on their side, so they will be rest assured that there will be no impact on them trying to do anything in their property to install a barrier-free ramp or access for a wheelchair in their own backyard, because there is no impact, like there's no encroachment from our proposal into their backyard. In terms of geotechnical, we are going to do geotechnical reports, but because of the ground is frozen, so we're waiting for the spring just to make sure that the water table, and that was one of the reasons why we are maintaining the existing basement level as the existing basement level. In terms of privacy screens, as I mentioned, the client is more than happy to work with the neighbors directly of any type of privacy screens that they will be satisfied with. We are willing to install. In terms of, like, there is no easement or anything we are proposing between the two properties. I just wanted to mention there is existing driveway to remain, so we are not altering that. We are protecting the front city tree as well. There is no building length, there is no building coverage, there is no soft landscaping, so we try to mitigate any water issues that will come during the building permit, but there is, in terms of the massing. The eaves, the sides, we had, like, the variance has been clearly reduced, and we introduced a knee wall from 9.59 to 8 meter high. I understand, like, when it comes to the aesthetics, it's really personal. Every person has their own opinion, but definitely the clients came to this neighborhood because they love it, and they don't live far from it, and they want to make it their generational home. And we respect everybody's opinion, and we're willing to work with the neighbors, but at the same time, these are the minor variances that are before you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Panel, questions. Dylan?
Yeah, sorry. So in the new rendering,
Yes.
with the change to the roof, you still have the front and back as square.
Correct,
So-
because the variance is only on the side walls,
But
not the front.
wouldn't it be, like, presumably that's to kind of mirror the sloping roofs of the rest of the street? Wouldn't it make sense to have the slope at the front as well and cut off those corners?
It's for aesthetics reasons. We did that, and it was to the satisfaction of the planning because it spoke about the variance itself. But if that's something that committee members feel strongly about, I could definitely discuss that with my client to introduce.
Well, I think it's something that the residents would also feel, like your neighbors would also feel strongly about in terms of the
If you
aesthetics.
allow me 1 second. Okay, we are willing to introduce the eaves at the front of the property, like
Okay,
all
I don't
around.
think we can actually make that
It's not a variance before us, so
No.
I
but
think we would have
think
to,
that, we would ask you to
To
work with
undertake
your
to do
neighbors
that.
To do that,
Of
because
course.
it would kind of, like, I appreciate, I think it's great that you have made that change, and it does fit better with the neighborhood, but I think you need to do that full change in order to really accomplish what you're
Not a
trying to
problem. We can definitely, like, if you allow me, like, we will play with the massing.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe, like, we'll have some dormer situation, so we cannot have the eaves all the way across.
Yeah.
But definitely we'll introduce eaves in the front and back.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
okay.
a problem.
that's it. Any other questions, Dino?
Just a clarification, so the purpose of the application on the public notice now will change, right? So how will it read?
Through you,
on.
Mr. Chair. The only change is to the number of stories.
Yeah, from a 3 to a 2-story.
Yeah.
All right, and so but at the end, it says a rear third-story balcony. That remains? How can it be with
All stories will need to be changed. The front, the covered porch is now first story.
Yeah, so that purpose has to change.
But there will be no variance, this variance removed.
No,
No, but it's still
I
the
understand
purpose
that,
of the
but
application.
the purpose of the application, the
Correct,
description
it's
has
removed, yeah.
has to change.
So the
Hold on,
yeah,
through you,
let's get
Mr.
this
Chair,
clear.
they can still have a second-story platform, it's just gonna be 4 square meters.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So that description has to change, that purpose.
So we need to change the second story covered porch is actually the first story covered porch now. And the rear third story balcony is now a rear second story balcony.
Right.
Right?
It's up to the applicant to confirm that.
Yeah, it's just the purpose, we are okay.
So
with
if you
this.
can read out the purpose of application as it should be revised.
So to construct a new 2-story detached dwelling with a front integral 1-car garage, a front
First story.
a front first-story covered porch with the stairs, a rear basement walkout, a rear first-story covered deck with the stairs, and then that's it. A rear third-story balcony, I don't think we need that because it's allowable. We have a balcony on the second floor.
Yeah, and
So if
again,
you want, we can say second.
I think that's probably, it just captures the purpose. It doesn't speak to the variance.
Okay, let me read it again for you, Sabrina. So to construct a new 2-story detached dwelling with a front integral 1-car garage, a front second-story covered porch.
Thought it was first.
No, first.
It's just a front.
A front covered porch with the stairs, a rear basement walkout, a rear first-story covered deck with the stairs, and a rear second-story balcony.
Right. Okay, thank you. Any more questions? I appreciate you don't have an overall height variance. A lot of the concerns were about massing, and I think Dylan's suggestion is a really good one in terms of changing a little bit of the facade to be a little bit more in keeping with the character of that part of the Swansea community. But I do notice you had 12-foot first floor and a 10-foot second floor.
That has been changed, Mr. Chair. The
Oh.
ground floor is 11, the second floor is 9 now.
Oh, okay.
When
That-
we introduced the eaves, we lowered
Okay,
everything.
so I wasn't sure when you cut off the eaves, whether you kept the height. You didn't. You've actually reduced the
Yes.
floor. That's very helpful.
I
I
had
thought
to.
the 12 was a little on the high side.
No, so it's 11 and 9 now.
Okay.
Second, because when we pulled the walls in, I need to make sure that the eaves won't encroach into the side yard setback as well.
Okay, okay, that's helpful. Good. And that's shown in your revised drawings?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Any further questions? See none? Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let's go into committee.
Okay.
Ryan?
So, yeah. So I understand the proponent and their agent have put a lot of effort into this proposal. I believe this proposal has been put forward in good faith and that it's something that will work for their family. I do think this home can be in an attractive structure in the wrong context. I don't think this is the right context. The scale and form of the proposed structure I find to be so out of step with the established character of the neighborhood. The area is defined by consistent massing and setbacks and rhythm of homes that fit together cohesively, and this just departs from that pattern. I feel like it's overdevelopment of the site. I think that this will be disruptive to adjacent residents and a real visible interruption within an old established neighborhood, and I just can't support it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Paul?
So I'm only looking at only looking at the 3 variances requested. I think that the taste, architectural style, I don't think we would all debate it. But I think that the 3 variances that are requested, going from 0.6 to 0.83 for FSI is minor in my mind. The minimum yard setback on one side because of the garage is, I think it is minor. And the maximum permitted height of 7.5 meters to 8 is also minor. I do think that there's a missed opportunity here to be more sensitive to the neighborhood and the context, but the variances that we're looking at from a purely analytical point of view, I feel they're minor.
Okay, thank you. Dylan?
Finger on the spot. Yeah, I'm a little torn by this. I do feel that the revisions that have been made are really important. I don't think I could have supported the original proposal. I feel like the revisions, I know that part of it is just technical and, you know, the basement's still it's still much the same, but it sounds like the overall, am I correct in saying that the overall building is a little bit lower now? Right, so that helps. The eaves really help a lot. I really hope that you will make that change to fit in with the overall aesthetic, and I think that will help as well. I also think that the pulling back on the side yard setback really contributes a lot. Now it's really only slightly larger than the existing situation. I totally sympathize with the neighbors. The mass is going to be considerable. But on the other hand, you know, this is, I don't think that we can, it's reasonably within the realm of normal development to build this high. It's got to be, the basements can't really be lower. So I think with the revisions made, I can support this. And like I said, I really hope that the overall design will be modified to fit the overall aesthetic even better. So I would support this with the requirement for privacy screens on the deck and the second floor balcony.
Okay. Dino?
I agree with my colleagues.
Okay. I'll just weigh in. I know this neighborhood very well. I actually live in Swansea, and I can tell you that Swansea folks are very passionate about their preserving what they see as being their heritage and some of the architectural concerns. However, I also know that this area, being a desirable community, is a focus of a lot of rebuilds, a lot of renovations, and a lot of investment. And even on Armadale, on that east-west strip just close to South Kingsway, there are several now renovations, and at least 2 which look like they're almost even taller than what you're proposing. So I think I would agree with what Dylan said. The original proposal, I probably wouldn't have supported it because the massing was really not in keeping with the prevailing form. Even the revised and renovated new builds, it was out of step. I think with some architectural adjustments, I think you could bring it closer to that. But at the end of the day, the variances are really quite small, and particularly given the revisions that you've made in concert with your discussions with community planning, I think the variances before us are really quite minor. You know, we can debate forever design and look and such, but our job is to deal with the variances, and you know, we're heartened by the changes that you're proposing to make that will kind of synthesize a little bit of the design in keeping with some of the surrounding homes. But I too will support this application. So Paul, I'll probably maybe call on you to do a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve this application. As per the amended public notice. I don't think it's the current red line public notice, current public notice. I don't think there's any city requirements for landscape?
There's no official conditions, but we wanted to do some screening in the rear, on the balconies.
And and tied to site plan and elevations, and for rear screening on the second and.
On the
First and second.
First and second floor.
So I'm sorry, ma'am, we're in committee right now,
Oh,
so.
no, but I think she's got a good point.
If we take to elevations means I cannot introduce the eaves.
Right, that's true.
Good point. So what are you trying to lock down?
We just wanted to lock down the wall moving in on the side.
Site plan should probably do that.
Site plan.
Yeah.
Just the site plan.
Yeah, site plan will do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
So I'd say that, and then I don't think this can be as part of the moving it, but strongly encourage further discussion with your neighbors, but.
Yeah, I think, can we put for the record that the architect has agreed to make some design changes to the front to, I don't even know what the words would be, adjust the eaves on the front facade?
Yes, through you.
Something to that effect?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we can do that as part of the minutes.
Yeah.
So it'll be for the record.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's it, Paul?
Yes.
All right, motion by Mr. Gogan to approve with those conditions, seconded by Mr. Reed. All in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
And Mr. Bissonnette dissents. The motion carries. Your application is approved.
Thank you very much.
Okay, moving on to the next item, item number 29. 63 Walmsley Boulevard. This is an application to alter the existing 2.5-story detached dwelling by constructing side third-story additions, a rear 2-story addition with a rear covered ground level deck and stairs, rear basement walkout, and a rear third-story rooftop deck. Committee has before it copy of the plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, revised site plan, floor plans, and elevations, received January the 19th. A red line public notice received January 19th. Revised zoning notice received January 19th. 4 photographs of the subject property. Covering letter from the agent, second covering letter from the agent. You have this previous decision number affecting the subject property and an email correspondence from the agent. You have 3 form letters in support from owners occupants of 60, 65, and 72 Walmsley. We have correspondence and concern from 65 Walmsley. Conflicts with the previous thing, so they've written in support, but also concern. We also have correspondence in opposition from 61 Walmsley. Hello, good evening.
Sorry, are you the homeowners? Okay, so we're gonna, yes. Okay, so we're gonna unmute the agent, and he'll be speaking on behalf of you, right? You're just here for questions? Okay. Okay.
Michael, you've unmuted.
Good evening, yes. Did you need a presentation? My name is Michael Bateman. I'm at 1048 Broadview Avenue.
We do have someone registered to speak in opposition, so yes, we'll need a presentation.
Well, first of all, we reduced the number of variances to 4, and there was a new zoning notice issued.
Can you just walk us through the changes you've made? Is it just the one?
We eliminated one variance, which was dealt with the 3rd floor deck, and we basically made it to comply with the zoning bylaw, so it's not really a variance anymore.
Okay. All right, go ahead, sir.
Okay, we're proposing a small addition to the back, or consider a small addition. There are 4 variances. 2 of them deal with a rear deck, and one of them is dealing with the eaves, which are very small and are consistent with the eaves on the other properties and is an existing condition. The deck issue has to do with the fact that we're trying to get a walkout from the basement, and so the deck had to be squeezed to one side, but it's still not as big as the decks on both sides of the property, and it's not projecting past the deck that is right next to it on the west side property at 65 Walmsley. Yeah, the owner have a large family and they're also planning to move their parents into the home, the aging parents, so they need a little more space. The addition we're proposing is fairly small. It's only basically 56.9 meters, which is about 612 square feet, which is the size of a small condo, one-bedroom condo. I believe the addition is very reasonable. There was some concern raised about the coverage, and the coverage we're proposing, which is a main variance that we're seeking, is 0.98. There was some notice from the neighbors that 0.88 is actually the highest FSI in the neighborhood, but that's not, I don't find that's to be correct. It's only because the neighbor to the west has a 0.88 FSI that they assume that this is the biggest one. There are actually much bigger homes in the area. We're trying to do a search for the archives, but we didn't really have time because we received the letters of objections very late in the game. And although we requested the archive search, we haven't received all the notices from previous decisions, but there's a home at just one street south, at very near this property at 21 Lonsdale, and we included that decision, and it actually has an FSI of 1.5. So I don't believe that what we're proposing is very major. It only adds a very small addition, and if we only went to 0.88, we would only be able to add about 30 square meters to the property, which wouldn't really make it worth doing the addition at all. The existing property is already at 0.76, and I believe maybe 80% of the properties there are over the 0.6 FSI limit. As you can see, I've submitted like a diagram showing the neighboring properties, and you can see that we're not really projecting into the backyard further than a lot of other properties. Yes, it was submitted as a letter. It's a further down. There was another letter submitted later on that maybe you can bring up. It shows neighboring properties in the plan. Could you bring that up, please? It's another letter. This is not the letter that's up on here. There's another letter submitted. Could you please bring that up?
We're having trouble finding it, sir.
There was a letter submitted. It was on January 15th.
Keep going? Keep going down.
It's just before
This one, yes. Can you please zoom in? Zoom in closer, yes. As you can see, the proposal is only 40 centimeters past the neighboring property and is actually doesn't go as far into the backyard as a lot of the properties that are close to the proposed addition. The neighbor's property is facing south, so I don't believe there would be a major sun impact. The condition that we're proposing is very similar to the condition that this house was under for a long time, because it was also very further back from the neighbor at 65 Walmsley. So this is a condition that basically this property has endured. There was also some concern brought about that we're increasing the height at the third floor. In fact, we're actually, because we're demolishing. Maybe you can bring up the photographs of the
Sir,
backyard.
you've got 15 seconds left.
Okay. Yes, because we're demolishing that part, we're actually flattening, and actually the third floor is going to be smaller, not bigger, at the end of the addition. So that's basically it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just a quick technical question. So the fire escapes on the rear, was this formerly a rental property?
Yes, it was formerly a rental property. That's why we had to do a new vestibule previously, because the entrance situation was really changed to accommodate 4 different units, and then it was turned back into a single family home.
Okay.
So yes.
Great, thank you, sir. We do have one speaker on this one, so online.
Philippe, you've unmuted. Philip, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Not really. Either can you move close to the microphone or turn your volume up, please?
Now. Is it better?
No, barely hear you, sir.
Now.
No, not at all. Do you want to give him a call? Have we got a number for him? Hang on, sir. If you can hear us, we're trying to give you a call. If your phone rings, pick it up.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes. Oh, now we're getting feedback. Can you, if you've got two devices open, please close the other one?
Done.
Okay. All
Is it
right.
better?
I think that's good. If you could
Yeah.
give us your name and address,
Sure.
please, sir.
So apologies for the mishap. Good evening. So my name is Philip Zaug. I'm living on 61 WALMSLEY Boulevard. That's the house just east of the property that's being discussed right now. And I wanted to raise maybe one objection regarding the size of the extension and also to the floor space index variance that is being requested. So as you can see, the addition will extend 14 feet from the original building into the backyard. I found quite deep. I mean, it reaches the most depth that can be seen on the other plans. Given the property configuration, the extension is very close to the property line, and this will, with the two-story and the third floor extension, it will create a massive structure that will obstruct daylight and view on our property. That's my main concern. The roof deck is wide, it has direct views, but I think the applicant has agreed to move the fence a little bit further in. I mean, regarding the floor space index, I think if you include the two-story and the third floor extension, that index becomes 0.98, and it is the highest on the Walmsley street, not maybe perhaps in the neighborhood, but on the street, and I think the visual aspect of the street matters for that number. And I think that should be where it should be compared to. And the adjacent property on 65, which is very similar in layout and extension, has an index of 0.88. I'm not saying this is what it should match, but I think it shows that it's not the biggest. So all in, that's what I wanted to say, so that the depth of the extension, the structure that will obstruct and cut the daylight, and also the floor space index, that is a bit too high in my opinion, but I leave it to the committee to decide.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much, sir. Any questions of the speaker? None? All right. Thank you. And that's it?
To Mr. Chair, we have another registered speakers at 65 Walmsley Boulevard in interest, but I couldn't reach the speaker.
Okay. All right. We'll go back then to the agent. And if you wanted to share your time, sir, with the owners, then you collectively have 5 minutes.
Yes, I'd like to share the time with the owners. That I would like
Do you want to
to-
kick it to them right now?
Yes.
Okay. I need your name for the record.
Okay, is that good now?
Yeah.
Okay. My name's Catherine. I'm one of the owners of 63 Walmsley Boulevard. We moved into the neighborhood about 10 years ago. We really liked the neighborhood there. And when we bought it, it used to be a 4-unit rental, as you could see in the pictures there. And throughout the years, we've worked on different things to make it a normal single-family home again. And now we're looking to work with Michael, our architect, and just kind of, I call it normalize the back of the house, because you can see there's a strange protrusion, there's a fire escape, and also we're looking to make a normal exit for the kids and us with a deck at the back, because right now we do not have that at all. So that's partly why we're doing it. Another reason is we're looking to add a living space to the house. The first floor, we're looking to add like a family room for now, and in the future we can convert it into first floor bedroom for our elderly parents to move in with us. I think that what we're proposing is very modest and reasonable, and it's a small addition, and that is nothing out of character of the street. Like most of the houses in our neighborhood have an addition already, either at the same size or even bigger. And a lot of the new builds in the area have a lot, like a bigger even, what do you call that, like Florida land ratio than what we're proposing. So I think what we're looking to do here is nothing out of the ordinary for the neighborhood. And we're not changing the facade of the house, so.
It looks like your extension, is it going to mostly match up with the house next door?
So for 65, the house that's west of us we're going to be, I think, 14 inches longer than theirs.
Okay.
So about a foot or so. Yeah.
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's the same kind of length as, sorry, are you talking about the addition or everything with the deck?
The addition mainly.
Yeah, the addition is about like 14 inches longer, and then the proposed deck is going to be shorter than their deck, so it'll be actually.
That's a ground
like,
floor deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
All right. Anything further?
Yeah, the only thing I was going to add.
You got to get close. First, I need your name.
My name is Eugene Bertman, and I live in the same house.
Okay.
63 Walmsley. And recognize if there's concerns with like privacy screen or something like that on the third floor, we're happy to add that on Philippe's side as well.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like you've brought the sides in.
Yeah.
Okay, but you still.
We can still put up privacy.
Some privacy screen. Okay.
On the sides.
All right. Good. All right. Anything further?
Sorry, I don't know if Michael wanted to add anything.
Oh, go back to the agent?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you have a couple minutes left.
Yeah, there's no change to the front facade, so really all the changes will not be visible. So there's really no change to the character of the street or anything like this that would be visible from the street. So everything is at the back. All the changes at the back, yeah, you will not see anything that's being added to the back from the street.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Questions? Anyone? Paul? Yeah, that's kind of.
It was a cheap addition that was added by the previous owners. I don't know how many owners ago they did this, and that row is literally like a row of washrooms, so they could convert each floor to be an apartment, and that's how we got it in that. So yeah.
Yeah, we're removing that and then replacing it with a commercial.
Right. You're just rounding that whole thing out.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Anything further, guys? All right. Thank you very much. We'll take this into committee. Seems like a reasonable application.
I agree, Chair.
Ryan, yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's reasonable. I think it's to scale. I think it fits in the neighborhood. It's thoughtful. So I'm happy to support the application.
Okay. Anyone else? Dylan?
Yeah, it's a huge improvement on the back.
Yes,
I think the back is super weird at the moment.
It's very weird.
Huge improvement. I do think we should put privacy screens.
Yeah.
At the either side of the
On the two sides.
balcony.
Yep. Okay. Dino?
Yeah, I agree. And I was going to suggest to recommend the privacy screening now on the east and west sides of that third floor rooftop deck.
Yep.
Are we going to indicate the height of that privacy fencing?
There's a standard, right?
Yeah.
It's 1.5 meters.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I can support that.
Okay. I think we're all on board here. Can someone want to take a crack at a motion? Did you want Ryan? Do you want to do this one? You there, Ryan?
Yeah, here.
Okay.
I'm here. Happy to put forward a motion to approve the variances.
So it's an amended application, right?
And approve the amended application. What was the condition? I couldn't really
We're going to
hear.
do
We wanted
screening on, was it north and south? west and east side of the third-story rooftop deck to a height of 1.5 meters.
Thank you.
Okay, motion by Mr. Bissonnette to approve with that condition, seconded by Mr. Lombardi. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous approval. You have your approval. Thank you very much. Okay, we move on to item number 30, which is 149 Marble Place. This is an application to alter the existing two-story semi-detached dwelling by constructing a third-story addition and a rear ground floor deck with stairs. The existing rear two-story addition will be demolished. Committee has before it a copy plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 2 photographs of trees on the subject property, covering letter from the agent. We have staff report from Urban Forestry and 1 form letter in support from 153 Marlborough Place.
I think that the letter is actually in opposition.
Oh, it says support here.
I know, but I think it's incorrect.
Can we just double check that?
Oh, maybe I've got the
No, it's list, so she's listed as a speaker in opposition, so you're right. I think you're right. Is Ms. Bain on standby to speak? Yeah, so she's in opposition. So you're right,
Yeah.
Dylan. The letter is in opposition, not support. All right. Do we have the agent?
Stanley, you're unmuted.
Yes, hi, good evening. My name is Stanley Markovich of 149 Marlborough Place. My wife and I have purchased 149 Marlborough Place with the intention of making this our family home for us and our 2 of our children. We appreciate the time and attention you made for our application. We've had discussions with planning regarding our application. They do not oppose it. And we have 2 bylaws which we're seeking variance of. The soft landscaping, where the standard is 50% and our plan reaches 47%. Currently, there's no soft landscaping at all. It's just a gravel driveway, so we think that we are vastly improving the existing conditions. The second bylaw is regarding to FSI, which is at the standard is 0.6 and we're requesting 1.07. Interestingly, the existing home at 184.75 meters squared is over the allowable 0.6 and is considered legal non-conforming, but it would have met the standard at the time that it was built. I believe that the previous zoning took into account the undersized lots and intensification. As part of our design, we are shortening the existing building with the removal of an unsightly 2-story addition at the rear. Removing the 2-story addition reduces the existing GFA by 16.72 meters squared. Then at effect with our proposed addition is an increase in GFA by 45.34 meters squared. Finally, with respect to FSI, I had opportunity to review COA rulings for the Marlborough Place, and there have been 30 COA rulings which have allowed a FSI of greater than 1. We're sensitive to our neighbors and have intentionally designed our 3rd floor space with them in mind. The existing semi has a lovely front facade facing the street, and we didn't want to upset the facade, which would result in one side of the semi looking very different than the other side. As such, our proposed 3rd-story addition is pushed back beyond the sloped roof at the front and does not cover the entire proposed 3rd floor, thus maintaining the street facade and maintaining a cohesive look with the attached neighbor. We understand our neighbor at 153 Marlborough Place is unhappy in the way that our proposed addition will impact the light passing through her skylight. I do believe that as of late morning, there will be direct sunlight through the rest of the afternoon, and then in the morning, ambient light will pass through the skylight. I'd also like to point out that the current zoning allows for 13 meters, and we're not seeking relief of that bylaw. I only make this point because if we did not have an FSI variance, there would be no discussion about a proposed addition potentially impacting a neighboring skylight. In conclusion, I believe our application is minor in nature and that we have met the intent of the official plan, met the intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw, and that the variances are considered desirable and appropriate development of the land. I thank you for your time and I hope you will approve our application.
Thank you, sir. I think we'll hold any questions until we hear from the neighbor. Oh, sir, you're here. I'm sorry. Thought you were online. Come on up, ma'am. Name and address, please.
My name is Charlene Bain, and my address is 153 Marlborough Place.
All right, you have 5 minutes.
So my house is attached to the applicant's house, and my house consists of two apartments. I rent out the bottom floor, and I live on the top floor. That's a mirror image of their house as it stands now. I've lived there for 20 years, and I have a large skylight skylight is immediately adjacent to the shared wall between my home and the applicant's home, and it's a big, beautiful skylight, about 4 feet by 4 feet, and it provides morning sunlight into my kitchen, my dining room, and my office area. I had trouble hearing him, but I think he suggested that I get afternoon sunlight. I've never seen it. I don't know why, whether it's high rises on Avenue Road but anyway. I've submitted pictures to the committee of my skylight and the perspective of the 3 different areas in my home that it provides sunlight to. The drawings that were submitted, the floor plans that were submitted of the existing second floor shows it's not the way my house is when I bought it. It must have been plans that were done prior to my purchase of the house. So in the living room is still in the front of the house. My bedroom is in the back of the house, but the whole middle area of the house is open. It's an open concept, and that's where my kitchen, dining room, and office area is. So that skylight provides sun not to just one room, but 50% of my living space. Furthermore, I spend probably 90% of my day in that area. So, I don't know, when I look into my skylight now, I see sky. I'm going to, if the 3rd story is approved, I'm going to be looking at a wall. And the way it is, like all of my living space is to the west of where the wall is going to be, so the only view I will have of the sky is when I come upstairs, because that's looking south. But otherwise, my living area is here. If I look to the west, I'll see the wall of the third floor. I've been sitting here for a while, and I've heard people comment about the appropriateness of discussing plans with neighbors. There has been absolutely no discussion, none. I got notice from the committee of what was going to what they were hoping to do. And it's not really my instinct to not let people do what they want with their homes, but this is, I just feel I couldn't just sit silently, because it's just going to be such a significant impact on how I enjoy my home. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Panel, any questions of the speaker? Yes,
curious,
Dylan?
The pictures you sent of the skylight were very helpful. What other windows, do you have other windows though in the front and the back and the side?
Right, I do. I do have windows on the west side. But the house next door is just about, kind of guessing, but I would say about 18 inches away.
Right.
And it's the same house as mine. And so the windows are exactly in the same place. So you just keep your shutters closed, because otherwise you're going to look into their home and vice versa.
And what about the front and back? You have windows?
The front is the living room. My living room is not affected, and my bedroom is faces south. It gets sun.
So in the middle,
But
you
that's
have
not where I'm,
in the middle you have your kitchen and.
dining room and office, yeah.
I see. Okay, and that's what's going to be affected.
That's what's impacted.
I see. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, if we can get the agent back.
Hello, I'm back.
Hi.
Hi.
I know you've already spoken to the skylight issue, but if you could just try and address the concerns again, please.
Sure. I would just like to, one point, I did meet the neighbor, Ms. Bain, on the 18th of January. I rang her doorbell and she walked up at the same time to discuss our application. And she did speak to me about the skylight at that time. And she did say, I don't see how you can possibly do what you're doing without impacting my skylight. When we worked with our architect on this plan, we really thought that maintaining the lovely facade from the road was a priority. We didn't want to push it as other houses on the street have done, where they've pushed their third story addition right to the front, and you end up with a very disjointed facade for a semi. We didn't want to do that. We really thought about our neighbor and the community when we did that. I still believe, I'm not an expert, I'm a homeowner, that the sun, as we know, rises in the east, sets in the west, that ambient light will be spilling in there throughout the morning, and as soon as it's probably 11 a.m. or 11:30 when it's overhead, and for the duration of the day, there'll be lots of light coming in there.
Okay, thank you, sir. Questions, Dino?
Very minor question. I know I'm probably rather pedantic here, but words matter. And so I'm just looking at the purpose of the application. I know, well, I shouldn't say I know. I'm assuming this is a rear third story addition, correct?
It's a third story. It's a third story addition covering the existing second, but we're shortening the building, in fact, because there is a current two-story addition at the back, which is done at some point. It's quite unsightly, and we're eliminating that.
Well, when you look at the elevations of the proposed project, the front elevation looks exactly the same as the existing front elevation.
Yes, we're not touching it, and we've pushed it back.
Okay.
So the third story addition, because we did not want to disturb the facade at the front.
Okay. Perfect. That clarifies it for me.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else? No further questions. Okay, let's take it into committee. Thoughts, Dylan? You're always reliable.
All right, I'll take it. Yeah, I really sympathize with the neighbor, but there's no height variance being asked for. They have every right to build a third story. The FSI, I mean, these are tiny lots. You're inevitably going to have a high FSI. It's still really quite a small house. I think it's very thoughtfully designed. I think it's, and I actually think it's going to be a small benefit to remove that rear addition. I think it's better that they could have tried to push backwards, but the lot is really small. There's really not a lot of space there. And they're actually going to really add a lot to landscaping, which is fantastic. So overall, I think I totally sympathize with the neighbor, but I think this is within the range of what people are basically allowed to do, and I think it's an improvement. So I think it's very supportable.
Okay, Dino?
Yeah, I support the application. I concur with my colleague, and I would second if Dylan wants to.
Yeah, I would just note, you make the point about this being a very small lot. I was actually impressed that they almost had 50% of rear yard landscaping, which is actually, in these confined quarters, I think that's really quite impressive, actually. All right.
I'll move that motion with forestry condition number 2.
And I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Mr. Reed to approve, seconded by Mr. Lombardi. All in favor?
All right.
That's unanimous. You have your approval. Thank you. Thank you for coming down, ma'am. Item number 31 is 560 Main Street. This is an application to construct a new one-story detached garage in the rear yard of the lot containing the existing main detached dwelling. The existing frame shed and detached garage with shed will be demolished. Committee has before it a copy plan, a survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 5 photographs of the subject property, covering letter from the agent, and a staff report from Urban Forestry. Good evening, sir.
To Mr. Chair, we have the agent here in person and no other speakers.
Name and address, please.
David Fujiwara. I'm the architect for the owner, 100 Sunrise Avenue.
Great, sir. I noticed you've been here for a while. I almost feel guilty about saying this, but does anyone need a presentation? Yeah, I almost feel like I want you to make you a presentation because you stayed so long. But we have read the application. We're familiar with the material. We don't need a presentation today. It's fairly straightforward.
Yes.
Is there anything you'd like to share with the panel before we take it into committee for a decision?
No, I won't take my time.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. All right, we're in committee. Dino?
I promise I take this one. Yeah, this is very straightforward. That's to construct a new one-story detached garage. 2 variances, they're slight increases. I consider them minor. I'm prepared to move a motion approving the application and granting the 2 variances subject to urban forestry condition number 2.
All right, motion by Mr. Lombardi to approve. I have a seconder by Mr. Gogan. All in favor? You have your approval. Thank you for coming down.
Thank you.
Move on to item 32, which is 54 Kenilworth. This is an application to construct a new 2-story detached ancillary building containing 1 garden suite with a 2nd-story balcony on the west side in the rear yard. The existing 2-story detached dwelling will be maintained and unaltered. There will be a total of 2 residential dwelling units on this lot. The existing garage will be demolished. Committee has before it, excuse me, copy plan, a survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 4 photographs of the subject property, tree protection plan, a revised site plan received January 22nd, a red line public notice received January 23rd, a covering letter from the agent January 23rd, a sun study received from the agent received January 22nd, email correspondence with community planning, 2 form letters in support from 53 and 48 Kenilworth, correspondence in concern from 58 Kenilworth, correspondence in opposition from 56, 2 pieces of correspondence from number 56 Kenilworth. Okay.
To Mr. Chair, we have the agent online and no other registered speakers for this item.
All right. Good evening.
Is Austin Emino of 82 Formosa Drive in Richmond Hill.
All right, sir. I know we're late in the evening, and but there were some bits of correspondence in opposition. Maybe just a quick overview of what you're proposing, and specifically if you could take us through the changes you're making.
Yep, so based off discussing with the attached neighbor in person and also reading their opposition letters, we have decided to remove the proposed 2nd floor balcony, which would eliminate variants 3 and 4 from the public notice. So those are the redlined in the public notice. Aside from that, we're proposing a 2-story garden suite. We're requesting side yard setbacks of 0 meters on the north and south side, whereas 0.6 would be required on the north and 1.5 on the south, since we're a corner lot. Since our lot is only 5 meters wide, we felt like zero setbacks would be appropriate to make sure that we can build a livable suite on the property. In terms of the height, I know the neighbors were a bit concerned there as well. So we're proposing a height of 6.29 meters, whereas 4 meters is the maximum when the separation between the house and suite is less than 7.5 meters. So we're proposing a separation of 5 meters between the house and the suite. So actually, when we started designing the garden suite last year, there used to be a clause for Ward 19 that we're in, where you could have a 6.3 meter tall garden suite at that 5 meter separation. But unfortunately, that clause was removed late last year. So it has become a variance that we're requesting now. And then in terms of soft landscaping, we try to put as much as possible, 24.1%, whereas 25% is required. And the reason why we're a little bit under is because we do have a large 3.66 meter wide right of way at the rear of the property, which would be maintained as some sort of hard surface since it's a driveway leading to our neighbors at 56 and 58. So we can't really put any soft landscaping in that buffer back there. So due to the unique siding of our lot, where we kind of face a dead end street on the south side, the west side we back onto a park, we feel that the impact of this suite overall is very low to the surrounding area. And in terms of the sun study we provided, it shows in the summertime there's pretty much no impact to the neighbors' properties to the north of us. The only time when there's kind of some shadows over the backyard would be towards sunset in winter. But even in that case, it doesn't really extend up to their rear walls of their house. So we think it has a low impact in terms of sun on these properties. And yeah, thank you.
Okay, that's great. So number 56 is on side now? Austin, are you there?
Yeah, sorry, what?
Number 56, they were the ones that were opposed. You've removed the balcony, so does that mean they're not opposed any longer?
Oh no, we didn't hear from them any further. But when we talked to them in person, they seem to just be against any build in general. So.
Ah, okay. But you said you removed the balcony to satisfy the neighbors' concerns.
Right.
Okay. All right. Panel, any questions?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we'll have to amend the purpose as well to remove that second-story balcony.
Balcony, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Did you hear that, Austin? We're amending the purpose?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. All right, no questions? All right, we'll go into committee. Dino.
Yeah, I'm familiar with this this neighborhood. This is in the Beaches area. This is a corner lot on the corner of Q Beach, Crescent, and Kenilworth, and it backs onto Pantry Park. I've, in my younger days, played a couple of soccer games there. This is a narrow width lot. It is a bit deep, and I think it's an appropriate and modest development. I can support it. I think it. I don't think the increase in height for the garden suite will create any undue adverse impacts, given the rear yard condition, and it's it's backing onto a park, and it's a corner lot, and it has a flankage on Q Beach Crescent. So I'm prepared to move a motion
Sure.
to approve the application and grant the variances. By the way, there's only 3 to have been removed, but I'm glad to see that as well, with urban forestry condition number 3.
Okay,
I believe.
the amended application.
Yeah, amended application,
Okay.
absolutely.
Can I just make a quick comment?
Sure.
I do think that the impact on the northern neighbor is somewhat substantial. But I appreciate the sun study, and given the very small nature of the lot and the fact that it doesn't affect anyone behind or to the south, I do think it's supportable, but I want to acknowledge that the northern neighbor is going to be impacted. But I think that, the city wants garden suites. In this particular situation, I think the size is justifiable. Like, you can't make a garden suite of 1 story viable in this location. So I think it's supportable despite the impact.
Okay, did you want to second the motion?
No, someone else can second.
Okay. Paul. Oh, sorry, I'm going to do Ryan here. I keep overlooking
second it.
Ryan.
That's
So,
okay.
Motion by Mr. Lombardi with the forestry condition, seconded by Mr. Bissonnette. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you have your approval. Thank you, sir.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we'll deal with items 33 and 34 together.
Together, perfect.
And we do have the agent here in person and no registered speakers.
Great. Hang on a sec, Trevor. Okay, I'll just read these into the record. Item 33 is 45 Peared Road, Lot 74. This is an application to construct a new two-story detached dwelling with an integral garage and a front covered porch with stairs, a rear covered ground floor deck with stairs, and a rear basement walkout, and a rear window well, and a rear second floor box bay window. Committee has before it a copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 3 photographs of subject property, a covering letter from the agent, comparable approvals from the agent, municipal addressing of properties prepared by an engineer. We have staff report from Urban Forestry. That is item 33. Item 34 is 45 Peared Road, Lot 75. This similarly is an application to construct a new two-story detached dwelling with an integral garage, a front covered porch with stairs, a rear covered ground floor deck with stairs, a rear basement walkout, a rear window well, and a rear second floor box bay window. And the materials that we have on file are the exact same as 33. All right, Mr. Gain.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, committee members. I'm Trevor Gain, agent here on behalf of the owners.
And you get the award for the endurance for sticking around so long.
Thank you.
All right. This is just maybe just a quick overview since you've stayed around so long. I feel like I wouldn't be doing you a service if you didn't get a chance to present.
Yeah, so this is an application. We have 2 existing lots that were brought back to their original lot patterns. This is not a consent or a severance. And that was already done through land registry, and it was been renumbered, but the numbering systems within within Toronto is not caught up yet, so that's why both are still under 45 paired with the double lots. But that's coming forward, and they'll be renumbered 45 and 43. So essentially, we're just looking to take down this existing dwelling with a side yard garage over this double lot and build a pair of houses. I submitted photographs. I can go through theirs, but this is a typical development that you're seeing all over this neighborhood. The comparable variances are well in check, and I think what we're doing here is not really out of character. It's just kind of keeping up with the current development trend, and we think it's desirable. That's kind of my nickel tour.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Panel, any questions? We're dealing with the 2 at the same time, right? Any questions? You bowled them over. Thank you. No questions, we'll take it into committee. I think as the agent pointed out, this is a very straightforward application, quite desirable. Dino?
I actually visited the site and tried to walk the area, not recently, but within the last week and a half. It's a unique existing situation with the one home presenting forward and a second sort of recessed. So I know there are 10 variances for each application for a total of 20. I think the applicant has done a good job providing recent C of A decisions. I think regarding things like lot coverage and FSI as well as building heights. I think the variances will fit the existing physical character of the neighborhood. I think it's a modest proposal for both lots, and so I'm prepared to approve it, support it.
All right, anyone else want to make a comment? Dylan?
I just wanted to say I appreciate that the side yard setback variances is only for the 2 houses together, and that they're giving full side yard setbacks to the neighbors. I really appreciate that.
Okay. All right. Dino, I'll ask you to maybe move them. Do you want to do them separately, Sabrina, or can we combine?
Through you, Mr. Chair, do it separately just because the conditions vary
Okay.
a little bit.
All right. So
Okay, we'll do number 33, 45 Peared.
Yeah, lot 74, I'll do it that way, if I can do it.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, actually, there is a memo about municipal numbering, so lot 74 will be 43.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
Yeah, and lot 75 will be 45.
Right.
Municipal address.
So we'll
Okay.
start with 43, lot 74. Okay, so for lot 74, number 43, I move a motion to approve the application and grant the variances, the 10 variances in total, subject to urban forestry condition number 1. And I think that's the only condition.
Okay, can I have a seconder to that? Dylan? Motion by Mr. Lombardi to approve, seconded by Mr. Reed. Did you want to say something? No? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's approved. Do you want to continue on, Dino?
Sure, and I'll move approval of number 45, or lot 75. Approve the application and grant the 10 variances in total, subject to urban forestry condition number 3.
Okay, motion by Mr. Lombardi to approve this item. Do I have a seconder? Mr. Gogan, all in favor?
Aye.
You have your approval. Thank you very much for coming down.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
All right, we move now to our last item on the agenda, which is 7 Grandview.
Don't we need a 20-minute break?
I was wondering who was going to say that. I think
I require a presentation.
Don't you? Don't you? All right. Item 35, which is 7 Grandview. This is an application to alter the existing 2-story semi-detached dwelling by enclosing the rear second-story deck into habitable space. Committee has before it a copy plan survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevation, 2 photographs of trees on the subject property, and a covering letter from the agent.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we have the agent online, no registered speakers for this item.
Mr. Kersner.
Sam, you've unmuted.
Hello, good evening. My name is Sam Kersner, and I'm the owner and agent at 7 Grandview Avenue.
Great. Thank you very much, sir. Hang on a second. Unless you can make a 25-minute presentation, I don't, we're joking. I'm sorry. It's an inside joke. Panels, anyone need a presentation? No, we do not need a presentation. Sir, we've read your application. We're familiar with the material. We don't need a presentation today. Is there anything you'd like to share with the panel before we take it into committee for a decision?
No, I feel it's fairly straightforward. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Okay, we're in committee. Ryan,
All
you wanna take
right.
this one?
Sure thing. I'll put forward a motion to approve the variance as requested for 7 Grandview Avenue.
No conditions, right. Okay,
No
motion by
conditions.
Mr. Bissonnette to approve, seconded by Mr. Lombardi. All in favor? You have your approval. Thank you very much. And
Right, I was looking for a
Thank you so much.
It's gonna prorogue.
15-minute justification.
That is the conclusion of today's agenda. We are adjourned, sadly, at 7:14 p.m.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, guys. Thanks, staff. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.